Hi. Hello, everyone. Let me know if you can hear me. This is my first time on StreamYard, so I'm very, very new to this setup. I don't know if I really want all this stuff going on, but let's just see. Maybe I want to take the background out. I don't know. Not right now. We're going to have to deal with it. We'll figure it out later. But buenos dias. Good morning. Let me know if you can hear me. That would be fantastic. Hey, look at my mic being so rude. Oh, why don't you stay over there? Okay. Oh, okay. So real funny. Actually, not even maybe for me, but I had my canvas and everything set up because I was like, look, I'm going to paint today. Aujourd'hui, we're going to paint. That was French, P.S. But when I was looking at it behind stage, it looked like my canvas was like across the street, honey. I was like, what is happening here? So I'm glad that it looks a little bit decent. If I'm able to take a pic, I'll take a picture. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take a picture because why not? Say cheese, everyone. Ow. But my setup is like out of control. I got to take a picture of this. All right. That's good. Those are for the memories. Anyway, welcome everyone to Saturday morning Chimi's Creative Club. Now, I thought, instead of just seeing me on the screen, I know she's cute. I know. Stop. Instead of just seeing me, I figured, why don't I do something to teach people, like just to get into some sort of skills. So if you are an artist or an aspiring one, if you wanted to give painting a try or any other craft, because the point of this whole creative club is that I'm going to be showing you all of my skills. So I've acquired a lot over the years, and I figure why not? So we can just chit chat, keep it very cute, very classy, very, very sweet, very nice. And then then we can, get together and do what we got to do. So what I'm going to show you first is, well, first of all, let me say hello to everybody. Hello to my beautiful mods, Miss Terry, Miss 808. Thank you for being here. My girls, the girls are here, everyone. Finger snap, finger snap. And they are always so supportive. I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for both of you. And to everyone else who comes in, yes, paint by numbers, Terry, period. So anyone else who comes in, welcome. Thank you for spending your Saturday morning with me. I figure it's a nice way to kind of get the weekend going, to do something relaxing and creative while we chit chat about who knows what. We'll see where it takes us. So first things first, I'm going to show you what I did for my short. So a little background, I went to art school. I don't profess to be the best artist, but I just create what I want to create. Oh, Miss Christy. Oh my God. Hi, Christy. What's up, girl? So I'm not the best artist, but I am someone who is unafraid to try whatever, whenever. So I'm like, look, I want to paint an eyeball. I'm going to do it. So for reference, I like two types of mediums. I like to work on this type of paper. So like just like a regular black paper with acrylic markers. And I recently started picking up painting again. And it's been very healing because in college, I always felt like I was the only artist that got yelled at because I used to paint like I draw. So I wasn't holding the brush properly. And I'll just show you really quickly what my teachers would get so upset at me about. Is that I'm literally like this. I don't know if I'm supposed to go like this, like with chopsticks, like some people go down here, some people go, I don't know what to tell you, but you know what? I just like am one with the canvas. Okay. That's as artsy as you're going to get. But going back to that. So I've been really into eyes and drawing eyes. Eyes are definitely something that are the windows to the soul. And some of y'all, the soul is void, but we won't get there. We're not going to be shady on this Saturday. Maybe, but I've been really into understanding why eyes are just so magnificent, so cool, like going deep into like looking at it from like a microscopic level. It's insane. It's creation that like, thank you, God, for creating this for us, because these things get to see things. So because of that, these things are one of the most important things that you have. in terms of being able to know how to navigate Earth and all of those other things. So that was kind of the inspiration behind this one piece that I did for my Patreon, which you can see at the bottom, the ticker in the little cute pink. It's like, hi, Patreon, if you would like to subscribe, support your girl. And then in that little corner right there, I'm trying to figure out how to get it to the other side, but that's for later. The PayPal, you know, if you feel inclined to donate, obviously no pressure, but all of those proceeds will go into creating more beautiful content. And I have something else that I'm thinking about, but I got to figure out the logistics with that. So back to the eyes, the ojos. So ojos is eyes for Spanish. I made this for my Patreon people. This is what I posted in my community post. And this was done with acrylic markers. And I love complementary colors. So red and green complement each other. That's just what it is. And then I made this piece on my shorts, which shout out to everybody who saw it. Like, look, just starting out YouTube and to see like a view is a big deal. But to see it almost at 400 views is kind of like a big deal for me because I'm like, who is she? So I made this. You can see it. So 2 very different styles. And a very ruffly girl. She's not ruffly today. She's in her teddy because it's cold. But I'm a Shakespearean blouse wearing kind of gal. Okay. So for me to create this type of work is like, who is she? We don't know. But you know what? She's giving. Oh, Miss Melanie. Oh my God. Hi, Miss Melanie. Thank you for being here. You guys, it's like a reunion. I love it. So yeah, so this was my inspo for today because I feel like I want to stick on the eye trend. Again, for those who just arrived, eyes are just, you know, it's what we used to see, what we used to observe. They're the windows to the soul, which, like I said earlier, some of y'all avoid. We don't see her. We don't see him. We don't see nothing behind those eyes. Something is going on. But you know what? That's between you and the Lord. Okay. So I want to kind of continue on this trend. And I love the very like ethereal, you know, in the forest, behind the veil, like, oh my God, I see you. You know what I mean? I love the colors. And again, I use complementary colors, which if you are just starting out in any type of art journey, working with complements will automatically make your piece look amazing. So red and green, blue and orange, and purple and yellow. So with that said, I think let's get started. It's May 2nd. Happy May. How are we doing? I have another, I think this one is 9x7 if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to just lay this here. And unfortunately, due to my setup, I cannot really shift the camera everywhere. I mean, I wish I could show you how crazy this setup is. I have my computer on a yoga block. We're making it work. Okay. This is painting on a budget. This is streaming on a budget. Okay. Minus StreamYard because StreamYard was a pretty penny, but that's all right. Anyway, I'm going to take a sipperino of my beveragino. And if you have one too, cheers, everyone. Buenos dias. Thank you for being here. She's not iced because it's a little chilly, but she is a white chocolate strawberry from Nespresso. Okay. So in terms of the kit, now, if anyone is interested in ordering a kit, I am not sponsored yet, but I got this kit on Amazon. So if you're interested, I'll probably leave it in the comments at the end of the live so that if you want to join me next time, if we paint or we make a flower crown or if we cook or if we bake, honey, we don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to do a lot of things here. Okay. Anyway, so I just got this kit off of Amazon. Is it the most professional? No. Does it matter? No, just do it. I mean, you can't tell me that like with a kit like this, you could still make things. Pretty much. So it comes with its paints. Oh, there's a whole other set at the bottom. And it comes with a set of brushes. It comes with one of these little guys, a little holder, a canvas holder thing, your canvas. It comes actually with 12 canvases, which is pretty amazing, all different sizes. And let's see what else. That's it. I am providing my daughter's birthday theme cake, birthday cats from her party, some paper towels, a little cup with some water, and that's it. Let's get started. So you know what? I'm going to let you guys choose the 2 complementary colors that you would like me to work with on this canvas. So I'm going to try putting a poll. Oh, can I do that? Okay, Patreon, show me. Not Patreon. Oh, Patreon's always on my mind. Hold on a second. Maybe not right now. Maybe we'll do this later. Hold on. Wait, I can do the plus button. Oh, what did I do? No, that's not me. Okay, I don't know what that was. You know what? Why don't you guys just vote? How about that? Why don't we just vote? So we can pick from these three sets. We can do red and green, blue and orange, or purple and yellow. Your pick. Whichever one gets the most is the one that I'm going to start with. So you let me know. So let's do this. So if the mods can actually just put this down, that would be lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Wait, hold on. Can I do it here? No, that's a teleprompter. Oh, who needs that? Oh, not I. Okay, so red and green gets 1. Blue and orange gets 2, and purple and yellow gets 3. So you can pick from those 3. Red and green, 1. Orange and blue, 2. And purple and yellow, 3. So you let me know. We'll do a little. We got purple, yellow. We got some purple and yellow. Hey, we got some yellow, purple and yellow. Let's go. Let me get some more votes so we can decide what to do. Hey, listen. Yes, purple, yellow. All right, listen, if it's going to get purple and yellow, honey, we might just have to do purple and yellow. Let's go. Yes, purple, yellow. All right, you know what? We're going to do purple, yellow for the sake of time because I've been chatting for 12 minutes, 13 minutes. Mira eso. Ay, Dios. All right, so let me find my colors. But tell me, how is everyone doing today? How are we doing? How are we feeling? How is life treating you? What's new? What's going on? Yes, great spring colors. I actually did another piece with these colors, but I'll show that to you on a different stream. Oh, look, I haven't even opened this one. This one is called Mid Yellow. She's giving mid. She's giving mid yellow vibes. She mid. Why is it mid? Let's find out. All right, so we got some mid yellow that I'm going to add to my little palette. I don't like to do too much because paints are expensive, but they're actually not as expensive as I remember them to be in school. Y'all, okay, if anyone is from New York, this one's lemon yellow. This one's very, very festive, very spring. If anyone remembers, or if anyone is from New York, there used to be an art store named Pearl Paint. It was one of the most iconic, it just was the best place to get art supplies. It was 5 stories high. Every floor had its own category. And it was in Chinatown. So it was one of my favorite things to go get because, especially at the beginning of the school year, because I'm this place is it's like going into the Macy's of art, right? There's just so much stuff to see, but everything, my heart would break because if you made money over the summer and all that summer money went to your art supplies for school and it was just so expensive because the teachers are buy all of this unnecessary shit that we're barely going to touch. Literally, why are y'all doing this to us? Anyway, mauve pale. Okay, that's the next color I'm going to put here. And let's do violet. I love how beauty influencers are yes, it's that. Listen, I was giving beauty influencer at one point. Don't even talk. Oh, it's not even open. Don't even play with me. I definitely was a beauty influencer type-esque at one point. But that's when I was trying to do cakes and makeup looks together. This is very, 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 very dark. Excuse me. I'm just letting you know. I don't know if it's violet, but okay. Anyway, now we're going to go into, hi, Maria. Hello, welcome. I'm going to go into some titanium white because I like to have white, to kind of mute colors out and, make them a little bit lighter, a little bit cuter. So let's go ahead and put some titanium white. And that I'm going to do a little bit more of, because here's the thing. From the very little knowledge that I have about art and being an artiste in my own right, when you start mixing complementary colors, they start to get a little bit muddled. But there is a way to actually make them look really nice. So I'm going to, again, reference the one photo that I did, the painting, not photo, the painting that I did. So in some areas, when the blue starts to mix in with the orange, it starts to get a little bit muddy. So it does give it a little bit more depth, a little bit more character. So I don't mind it. So I'm going to grab, and we're going to get started. Oh my God, this is so insane. I hope that this becomes something that you all start to partake in, because finding painting again has been the best thing. So I'm going to use the Artily Flat 10 brush. I feel like a makeup artist person. We're going to go in with my flat brush. And I'm just going to like wet it so that the bristles can get a little bit, my least favorite word, moist. And we're going to just tap off the excess on a little bit of a paper towel situation. So let's go in. I feel like I want to go in with this yellow. Which yellow was it? It was a mid yellow. She's giving mid. So there is no rhyme or reason. I just like, look, if you're painting by numbers like Miss Terry, or if you just want to pick up a pencil and pad, just do whatever. We're going to just go with the flow. I don't know what I'm going to do, to be quite frank. I know I want to do an eye. Do I want to do a fairy mystical eye, or do I want it to be a little bit more creepy? That is yet to be determined, but we're going to start. So what I'm just doing is literally just going to take my yellow and just start working it. And instead of using more paint, I'm just going to dilute it with a little bit of water, just like that. And then when I get a good base going, what I'm going to do is we're going to chat, because your girl is turning 40 and like very soon. I'm not going to give you the exact date. Some of y'all know, but not everybody. So let's go ahead and just get this all spread out like that. And then I'm going to go in with lemon yellow next. I'm not even going to clean my brush because it's the same. And I'm just going to go on the opposite side. And just, again, no rhyme or reason. Just wherever it feels like you want to channel your inner Babalina Rosalina. Okay? That's me today. Babalina Rosalina. Okay? So, yes, I am turning 40. Kind of ridiculous. I cannot even believe it, but thank God, first of all. And P.S., if I'm not looking at you, it's because it's hard to do both. So you might get a side angle, okay? Look at the jewel line. No, just kidding. So yeah, I'm turning 40. It's been, my 30s were definitely probably the most of all the ages. And granted, like, you know, teens and all that, I think everyone kind of experiences very similar situations, since, you know, you're in school or whatever the case may be. But my 30s, my 20s, late 20s into 30s were very pivotal in terms of like trying to find my identity. And I kind of feel like we also all have that in common, but like doing it in New York City is so hard because, I mean, you have so many options here. Like, where do you fit in? Where do you go? What do you do? Who do you associate with? And in a city that is all about the grind and all about, you know, trying to be the best in any field that you're in, and that you can, if you truly make it here, you definitely can make it anywhere. Like, that's not a joke, you guys. It's definitely accurate. I mean, no pressure, right? Like, and especially being a born and raised New Yorker, there is a lot of pressure in terms of, one, maintaining the grit of New York, like the true essence of what New York is, which is kind of a melting pot of all of these different people and nationalities and et cetera, but also trying to find your place in all of this. And I think that that's always been a challenge for me, because I don't know if anyone is familiar with the M-type brain, but I think I have discovered that I might have an M-type brain. And what that means is that you are someone who has many interests and hobbies, and you're pretty good at all of them. I mean, listen, I didn't come up with the rules. I didn't come up with the science. That's just what it says. Look it up and you tell me, okay? So having an M-type brain means that yeah, like you're interested in a bunch of things. And I've always been like that. However, that can always get misinterpreted because you're like, well, you just started painting last week and now you want to make bread. Yeah, pretty much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why not? You know, that's always been my logic. It's like, why not? Like, if life is truly so short, which it is, I mean, to think that I've made it to 40, thank you, God. But if life is truly this short, why aren't we pushing boundaries to try anything? Do whatever you want. You have this life to live, go for it. Why would you stop yourself and limit that potential because of fear or some unnecessary dumb BS that, you know, we've been fed of like, oh, you need to stick to one lane. Yes and no, okay? One lane is great when it comes to just focusing on yourself. Multiple lanes in terms of how yourself gets expressed, I think is okay. Like, why not? Why not experiment with different things? Why not paint? Why not try to like take a class and make a croissant? You know, like do the thing. So in my 30s and in my 20s and into my 30s was just kind of this experimental phase of like really trying to find what I love to do. And I got into baking because, well, that's kind of how I started my internet career, I guess you'll call it. I got into baking because I was like, you know, baking is delicious and I wanted to teach kids how to bake. But at that point, I didn't have my daughter. So, and I didn't have the skill set in terms of knowing how to how to bake. So I was like, I got to teach myself how to do it. And then I taught myself how to do it. And then I became pretty good at it. And I just applied the skill and I made it into a tiny business. And I was selling cakes mostly to my coworkers and friends that I had met and people that I acquired online, clients. And it was great and really fun. I mean, I really enjoyed it. But then after a while, it just kind of became monotonous. And I mean, how many times can you make an Elmo cake? You know what I mean? And it's no disrespect, no shade. I mean, I know Elmo is a popular friend. We love Elmo. Okay. Elmo brought a lot of giggles and fun to my daughter, Cookie Monster too. But at some point it's like, you know, it kind of gets a little bit repetitive and mundane. And I just kind of wanted to push myself in a different direction. So at that point, I had gone through a really crazy, like in my mid 30s, I had gone through a really crazy spiritual awakening. And I was like, self, what are we doing? I had no idea, but I will tell you that if you've gone through the dark night of the soul, honey, that is not many people can survive, let me just say, because it is a ego death on an ego death on an ego death of everything that you thought life was going to be. And then you getting humbled by the Most High Lord being like, oh, think again. It ain't like this, girl. So with that, you just kind of are like, oh my God, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to deal with all of this nonsense. Like, I need to fix my life. What was the name of that lady that Oprah used to have that she had a show called, what is it? Something Fix My Life. That I needed to fix my life because my gosh, like, what was I doing? I was spiraling. I was not making very good decisions. I was participating in shit that I should not have been participating in, especially after becoming a mom. And look, it's no shade. Like, I'm not trying to say that because you become a parent, you can't do certain things. But there are certain things that kind of lower your vibrational frequency. Yes, we're getting spiritual on Saturday. And you probably don't want to invite that into your space, especially when you have young children. Like, that's why people tell you, like, if you're going to do things that are crazy, do it in your 20s. Do it when you're younger, because at least you don't have the responsibilities and you don't have the pressure of being a parent and having another human literally watch you. Like sometimes I'm like, this child of mine, listen, she is a copycat extraordinaire. They become like little parrots. They repeat everything that you say. And then, you know, she's giving a little sass. I'm like, where'd you get that from? Oh, me. Okay. So it's a lot of that, right? So it's, people tell you to do that. It's for a reason. It's because you don't have the pressure of potentially influencing a new generation. And that's why, now going into 40, I'm a lot less concerned about quantity and more focused on quality. Because the thing about social media, when you start coming back into this space, is that numbers and views and comments and engagement and all that stuff matters, especially if you're going to start working with brands or whatever the case may be. Look, whatever God has for me, I will be happy with. But for right now, I just kind of feel like I'm just happy just being myself as authentically as possible, and like just enjoying these like little sessions and see where this goes. If it evolves into something else that's bigger than that, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. Like, you find your tribe, and it's not always about that. It's about putting out quality content that is going to help people, whether it's to distract them from what's going on in their life, or if it's to, give yourself much needed therapy. Like, this is very, very therapeutic for me, and I enjoy it thoroughly, which is why when I said I was hesitating to start a channel, because I'm like, I don't want to be like everyone else. I'm not. I am 100% a totally different human. I have a lot of skill sets that I've acquired and dedicated a lot of time to, a lot of money into, that, I don't want to just be like everyone else. Like, if we're going to talk wisdom, honey, why can't we paint something at the same time? Okay. Why can't we make a flower crown? Why can't we learn how to bake some cookies and learn how to ice cookies, learn how to decorate a cake, learn how to pipe little florets? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things that you can do, but I think that people get afraid because it becomes too muddled, or it's almost like you're a unicorn, because how does she know how to do all this stuff? Welcome to Having an M Brain, everyone. Thank you very much. And with that said, I'm going to take a quick pause to show you where I'm at. So if we're here, oh, she's giving texture. And that's why we do things live. She's giving texture. She's giving lots of yellow. So I'm going to go in with purple now. I'm not going to lie. I kind of love that happened, because this is a real thing. This is live. And look, we're getting it all on our hands. I'm going to leave it there. So yeah, like, I think that now, did it go upside down? We're going to go with it. I don't even care. We're going to go with it. We're going to go with it. Why not? Anyway, so now we're going to get rid of this yellow, the lemon and the mid, and we're going to go into the purples. So I'm going to be very strategic. And I think because this contrast is so like, it's so contrasty, like the yellow is so bright and the purple is very dark, I'm going to be very intentional on where I place the purple so that it doesn't get too muddy, because that's going to be a little bit more difficult to kind of blend in, so it becomes a little bit more cohesive. But I love, listen, painting like this, I love a textured background. Yes, happy accidents, period. We love that. It's authentic. It's genuine. You know what I'm saying? Delicious. Anyway, Nespresso, you know what? If Nespresso, not even if, when Nespresso, it's like, listen, can we get in on this Chimi Creative Club? Yes. Are you sending me a couple of sleeves? I will talk about it, because that I rock with, okay? I would never sponsor anything that I don't stand behind 100%. Absolutely not. Anyway, so let's continue. So I have already cleaned this flat brush, and I'm going to pat it dry a little bit, and we're going to go in with the lighter of the purple, which I think was called, let me check, Mauve Pale. I think I'm going to start lighter and then kind of work into the darker aspects. And when I do this, I do like to keep the darker on the outer perimeters. So I'll do this again. Stay this time. Mira, I can't have you on my laptop. You understand? So I like to keep the darker on the outer perimeter and just kind of draw in so that it kind of like, excuse me. So it kind of creates a natural vignette into the center where our eye is going to be. So what are we feeling? We're feeling purple. Let's go. All right. So I'm just going to and I'll show you in a second what I'm doing. And when I go in with other colors, I like to just kind of like maneuver the brush either I don't know if you could see that. So either off to the side or like this. So you're going to get straight lines or you're going to get the paint to kind of drag down like that. All right. So where was I? Yes, happy accents. I know I said that before, but you know, it's authentic. It's real. You know what I'm saying? And that's the other thing. I mean, what I realized leaving my 30s and going into my 40s is how little we truly know about like how to exist as human beings. Because I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I'm just like, I mean, we're at the point now where we're still doing this type of stuff. We're still acting like that. Did we not get past this? But that's a reality, right? And that's something that my 30s have taught me is that, you know, just because you're older doesn't mean that you're necessarily wiser. And just because you have certain things that you've done in your life doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily have the wisdom acquired to be able to make better choices or whatever the case may be. And 30s were very instrumental in teaching me that. And even for myself, like there were certain things that I'm like, girl, you know better than that. Why are you doing that? But alas, I am human. I mean, what can I tell you? I'm a human being and we're all going to make really horrible mistakes and errors. And I mean, honestly, it's great as long as you know how to take accountability for it afterwards. So that's a part of it that, you know, most people are afraid to own their mishaps because it's almost like this disbelief, like, no, I could never. No, we all have the capability. All have the capability to be a jerk. Like, that's a fact. I mean, we all have that ability to do that, you know? Like, if you are going to tell me that you don't do that and that you're the kindest person 24/7, then I don't believe you. And you shouldn't believe that either. You can choose to make better choices, but that doesn't mean that you're like, oh, all the time. No, like we're human. We are supposed to know darkness to understand light. Those are two constant things in this world, in my opinion, that are always at battle with each other. So you knowing that both of those things can exist, the key is to find the balance on how to have both. Most people don't know how to do that because there's this idea that it's like, oh, well, if you're bad, then, you know, it makes you automatically a terrible person. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that it depends though. Hold on, pause, rewind, scratch, wait. So it's not that it makes you automatically a bad person. I think that as long as you're aware that you are doing certain things and you have the ability to receive it with understanding as opposed to defensiveness, that's the key. So yes, we all have had our moments. We all have done things that we shouldn't have done. Even myself. Yes, me. Yes. Yes, I have as well. And you know what? It's made me smarter. It's made me better because of it. And I think that the problem is this expectation that you're supposed to be a certain way depending on, like, if you present yourself and you meet someone, you're kind of like boxed into whatever that is. So if I come out and I'm like, hey, I talk about wisdom, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm always going to have the wisdom to do everything with the best, wisest advice, right? Like, I'm human. And I think that's a part of what people like lose, that ability to remember that, like, no one should be put on a pedestal of an example. No one should be, you know, who the role model of who, what, when, they're, why. Like, we're all unique individuals on very different paths, and we're all supposed to exist as we have chosen for ourselves. That doesn't mean that Juan Pablo has a say. That doesn't mean that Maria has a say. That doesn't mean that the chat has a say. No disrespect, but you know, I don't know what you're doing. You don't know what I'm doing. You only see this clip, but then there's 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week, right? Some of you, I don't even know. I just see your beautiful pictures and I'm like, God damn, she is gorgeous. Can I get the skincare routine, honey? Because listen, I could use a little bit of upgrade too. It's okay. But it's one of those things. It's like we all are very unique and complex beings. And Maria, thank you for saying that. That yes, a lot of us are better at giving advice than we are taking it. And that is so accurate on so many levels that I'm like, you just know. But yeah, I mean, I think it's important to have that awareness that like, you're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to mess up. You're allowed to have a choice and also try to understand how that choice affects your life. But the key is you got to be aware that with those choices come certain consequences. I don't think a lot of people want, a lot of people love to do the action, but they don't want the consequences that come with it. And then, here comes, every excuse in the book. Oh, but my mental health and listen, I got a lot to say about mental health as somebody, I know we've all experienced the mental health epidemic of sorts that occurred when it became less taboo to talk about our issues. I just think that we probably have gotten too comfortable in reciting the script and not necessarily taking ownership for it. So we kind of are like, oh yeah, well, I went through this and, because of this, I behaved like this. Well, you know what? You don't got to keep behaving like that. The awareness, I love it. I live for it. I see it. Bravo. But the continuation of being a deviant, honey, you don't got to do that. You don't have to do that. It's a new day. We learn something new, right? So that's a part of it. Hold on. I'm going to take some more white because I want a little bit more lightness to this. It's just me. I'll show it to you in a second. Hopefully it doesn't fall. But anyway. Yeah, like, yes, it's about doing the work. It's like people have gotten too comfortable on allowing their mental health to become a crutch that they don't take any type of responsibility and ownership for their life. Like, it's like we all had a lot of us had a really bad childhood. Do you need to project that childhood trauma onto other people? Think about that. My 30s taught me that there's a lot of millennials like myself and, other generations as well, that, yes, it's great that we have brought awareness to mental health and that we have identified that, a lot of us go through similar struggles and all of that stuff. But you got people out here that thinking that that's an excuse to continue to behave the way that they do. And it's like, at some point it's like, no, baby, the problem is you. You were a child 50 years ago. No more excuses. No more excuses for that. And then, you have people like also like, and I'll say this for myself, like I, at one point, like because of my childhood, felt it was justified to think the way that I thought about certain people in my life without understanding that, they too had their own issues and they didn't have the outlet or the ability to have the awareness because, it was more taboo in their time to talk about issues. Because back in the day, people would be like, get over it. I feel like we're circling back to that moment now. Because now we've exhausted mental health, that everything is mental health. I stubbed my toe. I am so depressed. I can't go outside. That's not mental health, baby. That's an injury. And injuries heal. Put some ice on it. You'll be all right. Or, how Spanish people, they put bipaporu, Vicks Vapor Rub. We call it bipaporu. You put bipaporu on this, you have some some dandruff, put some bipaporu. You have an injury, put some bipaporu. You have a heartbreak, put some bipaporu on your chest, honey, and smell the menthol vapors going into your nose and clearing your system from the BS that was that man. Ese hombre. We don't talk about him. We don't care about it. We don't talk about Bruno. Okay? Rub some dirt on it. Literally. People back in the day, it's almost like they had it right in terms of not caring about all the BS. And it's like, all right, I went through a heartbreak. I got to keep trucking along. Like they didn't have the time or the capacity to really sit with their feelings. And there's a negative and a positive to that. The negative is that because if you don't address it, yes, it's going to be a problem. But if you address it and don't let go of it, that's also a problem. So we're just kind of like coming into this full circle moment, I feel like, as a collective, a society, that it just feels like, what are we doing? Like, are we going to still continue to use ADHD? And look, I have it. We all have it. At this point, it is, everybody has it. Now, are you going to focus on taking the proper medication to do that? If that's your thing, if that's what you require, great. We have options, especially nowadays. We have so many options. There is no excuse. So that's kind of how I feel like about, anyone who says you're doing this on the internet. It's my choice and it's my option and I'm choosing to exercise it. Period. Great. Congratulations. Grab a canvas. Vamos a pintar. Okay, let's paint. So let's show the progress. Let's take a quick little break, a little coffee break, and then I'm going to show you my canvas. Hopefully it doesn't fall again. I see you, okay? We don't need any more happy accidents. Gracias. Still hits. Amazing. And P.S., I know I said this maybe, I don't know if it was the last live or this one. Miss 808 has this exact cup, the same color. You cannot make this up. What? I'm just saying. El destino, destiny, God, source, light, the Lord was like, find the one with this exact cup. I'm telling you. Anyway, let's look at this canvas and let me say hello to everybody in the chat. What's up, everybody? Thank you for being here. Happy Saturday. This might take a little bit longer-ish, maybe. I don't know. I might just kind of set the foundation and then do a grand reveal on a short, which could be kind of nice. But at least you're here for part of the process, which I think is fun. So this is where we're at. So we have lots of texture. I went in with some white to kind of lighten the purple a little bit. I think the darker purple is going to work better for some of the flowery aspects. Oh, it is Sunday for you. That's right, Maria. That's right. You're in Australia, right? Am I correct? But yeah, so I just wanted to lighten it up a little bit because, again, the good thing about compliments, they're beautiful together, but contrast also matters. You don't want something so stark, Hi, Miss Oxymoron. How are you? Thank you for being here. Our Aussie girl. Yes, I can't do an Australian accent. I'm not going to offend you. But hi, thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, you guys. It's like a reunion. Anyway, so thank you for being here, everyone. We're just painting. We're just chatting. We're just doing our thing because I figure learn a skill, do something while you're having a nice conversation. And I'm a person with many skills that I've learned and taught myself that I'm just happy to share them with everyone. So that way you have something to watch other than this face talking at you. You know what I mean? Behind this millennial gray. Look, I don't own this place yet. It's a very nice apartment. It's a very nice home. I'm not going to touch the gray. But what I will tell you is that when I get my home, we're not doing any grays, no neutrals. Even this might be a bright green. I don't know. But I am so tired of the very muted, earthy. I love earth. But it's the very Kim Kardashian-esque, where everyone was just very beige. It just has no life to it. And beige is beautiful. These colors are beautiful, but it just kind of feels so there's a lack of personality and too much of a blending in to try to fit in with the trend. No, we're not doing that, okay? Especially not me going into 40, absolutely not. You might see more ruffles. I mean, I just didn't want to get it on the paint on my ruffles, okay? We do need vibrancy. Yes, we need a little bit more life into things. And that's why I think painting with really bright colors and doing these type of things is great because it just gives a little bit more energy, a little bit more light. So I'm going to keep going in with my flat brush. And for anyone who hasn't seen, I just kind of like did this. We're doing a little bit of a background. And Miss Oxy, I don't know if you saw my short, girl. I don't know if anyone else saw my short, but earlier I showed this piece that I did. I do listen to like very classical music when I paint or when I write. So I don't know if this is, I'm channeling Bach, Mozart. This is, look, if I could play it, I would, but the only reason why I don't is because I don't need the spirits to be like sending me a copyright strike. Absolutely not. No, we're not doing that. I don't need Mozart's estate to be like, you are playing, you know, whatever G to the minor, whatever thing. And absolutely not. No, I'm not doing that. So let's continue. So I'm going to keep going with this flat brush until I feel really happy with the background, and I'm not there yet. So let's keep talking. So we were talking about mental health and just kind of how it's become, while I appreciate that there's more awareness to it, it has become a little bit of a crutch and a little bit of an excuse for people to continue to behave the way that they do and not face the issues that they need to address. And many of us can relate to that. I know for myself, like one thing is that I'm very, or at least prior to some experiences, I was very trusting of people. I always want to believe the best in others, despite some of the issues that I've gone through as a person. And some of them were merited. Like, we'll get to that. But I'm very trusting of people. I want to believe that everyone has good intentions. And, you know, I don't profess to be more special or more important than anyone. I don't think anyone is. To me, we're all equals in terms of being human beings. Now, your character, though, that's for another day. That's for another life. Maybe we'll make a flower crown for that, you know, and the character award goes to, honey. No, but that's a little bit different. But I do think that, you know, we've just all as a society just gotten too comfortable with allowing things to continue to, like, for people to overdo it with their issues. And then it minimizes the people who actually have real problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like my breakup or my, you know, issue with Juan Pablo is not going to magnify someone who actually is suffering with like schizophrenia, or like someone who has like, you know, a true issue where like their mental disorder doesn't allow them to rest properly. Like they have to be at home. Like they can't be in certain spaces. Like there's levels to this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But this whole, you know, raising awareness for it has become an issue where it's like too much of everything is a mental health crisis. And it's really not. It's life. Life is not meant to be easy. Life is going to challenge and push you in so many ways that, like, it's a part of being here. It's a part of being a human, and it's a part of being on this earth. It's like there are going to be things that are very stressful, and it's not to minimize anyone's thing. And even that, like, if you feel that someone telling you that it's not that serious is to minimize it, it's not because of that. I don't think necessarily all the time. Question the source, right? Like if it's someone that you trust and love and it's like, look, it's not that serious, it's coming from a place of love. If they have your back and they love you, it's because it's like you maybe are magnifying something, and what we're looking at is just a surface, but what's at the core of why this particular situation, why that is upsetting you. That's what you need to look at, right? But nowadays it just has become something where it's like everything is a problem. Everything. Everyone has to be seen. Everybody has to be heard. No. A resounding no. Some people should not be heard. Some people need to work on themselves before they get on these internet streets and start doing certain things. There's so many content creators that I'm like, yo, like, for example, prime example, especially in spaces that try to sell you something. It's like, we see that this is just a money grab for you. We see that it's a grift. We see that, you know, you're just trying to sell me this product, not that you care about it. Like, we see it. So, and then if like they get criticized for it, or if somebody's like, I don't really agree, they fall apart at the seams and they need to take like 5 months off because their mental health is breaking. You just can't understand somebody just giving you constructive feedback in a way that it's like to help your business. So like, I'll give you a story about, I may have told it, I'm not sure. maybe in one of the lives. So I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but there are these two women that are known on the internet for sharing beauty advice, like what products to buy. And like, they kind of give like the science and the product development aspect of it. So they're very trusted in that space. And they came out with their own line, and it's like kind of like, it's giving lab samples, but that's a part of the aesthetic, right? It's like, that's what they wanted to do. But when it came to people testing the product and giving feedback to that particular product, they just were like not happy that it wasn't rainbows and unicorns and happiness, you know? And it's like, if you are choosing, because in their business model is to cut the product development before a product goes to market. Now you take a risk if you're going to allow your buyers, like your customers, to be your product development, because you need their feedback to make sure that the product is safe. I mean, that already in itself is a whole thing, but to make sure that the product is, good, that it works properly, that it lasts, whatever the case may be. It didn't go well. And, the whole response to it was like, well, it's almost like kind of putting it on the customer. Well, this is a part of the experience that you want to be a part of, and this is what it takes to do this. So yeah, thanks, but no thanks. And that's how at least I'm interpreting it. It didn't feel like they really cared too much about what they were actually selling, because it's like, if you're going to go into a business and you're going to sell a product, it has to be something that people want. Do people need another of these products? I'll say it's an eyeshadow. Do we need flexible eyeshadow? Is that a necessity? No. And especially in an economy now where like everyone is a lot more conscious of how they spend their money. They want to invest in certain things that are going to be long lasting, or that they're going to be good for your skin, or whatever the case may be. It just doesn't make sense. So the response to it was really disappointing, because it's like, y'all are great at dishing it out for another brand, but when it comes to yours, you're like, mum's the word, nothing, And that's something that I'm just like, I can't really stand behind that. Like, and look, God bless, love and light to them. Like, I know having a business is very difficult. To promote something is very hard. To make a name for yourself in a very saturated market, in a very saturated internet where everyone is trying to like make a name for themselves, it's difficult. 100% it's difficult. But that doesn't mean that you don't try to like, kind of take responsibility. And I just turned my canvas because like towards the bottom, like I want you to actually see this. So I like the flow of this, right? It's a lot more seamless. This feels a little bit too patchy, although it is kind of a vibe, but I kind of want it to flow together. Anyway. So, I mean, yeah, like when you have a business and you do all of this stuff, like you just have to you got to be prepared that like if you put yourself on the internet and you do all of these things, you got to be ready to take whatever people dish out. And there's going to be a lot of people who don't like what you have to offer, a lot of people that don't want to support what you do. But then also, if you're going to put yourself in a position to ask your customer to spend a certain amount of money to give you basically product development advice and feedback, I mean, you got to take that, the good and the bad, because that's what you're asking for. But that's kind of like, what people do, right? Like, how many of you put a cartwheel in the chat if you ever have friends that, you are giving them the best advice and they're like, you could hear them. They're like, yes, I hear it. It feels like it's starting to click. It feels like it's starting to click. And then they still go and revert back to their old behavior. Put a cartwheel in the chat if you have been with a friend who just likes to hear you talk all the good advice, but is never intending to take it. Please put a cartwheel in the chat. Put a cartwheel while I take a sip. Please put a cartwheel. Christy's like me. Terry. Oh, Miss Terry. Listen, let me tell you something about Miss Terry. I knew the minute that I encountered Miss Terry, that was an angel, okay? She is a guardian angel on this earth. And everybody needs to understand that, the angel that blows the trumpet, because that angel calls it exactly how it's going to go. That's Miss Terry for you. Don't play with Miss Terry. Absolutely not. You think she don't see? She sees everything. And she will 100%, 100,000% clock it for you. 1,000% clock it. Like you're just like, she did it again. She did it again. Yes, Miss Terry did it again. She has been truly like, I mean, the friendships that I've acquired on this space have been nothing but a godsend, truly, because they're women that I am just so grateful to have encountered and that have really reinstated. And also shout out to Renee, Miss Renee. I know she's probably not here right now, but shout out to Miss Renee too. Like, you want to talk about somebody who is a warrior. She also like sees what's going on and she understands. That's Miss Renee. Miss Renee understands. So like the women that I've met on this space have been truly like top tier. And for someone like me, who it can be difficult to have relationships with, especially in New York, because it's so fast paced and because everyone is just so self-interested on building their own thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong when it's like only like take attitude and like fight and claw your way to the top. It's been very difficult to find like-minded individuals that want to see each other win without having to do all this extra. Like New York City is very difficult for that reason, because it's a very me. I don't care about you. I don't care about this one. What I got to do to get to the top is what I'm going to do. So I'm just very grateful for this space and for the people that I've met, that I've built relationships with outside of this space that have been so awesome. And that like tea, honey. They are the tea. They are the tea. They are the coffee. They are everything. Okay. And cheers to y'all. Cheers to y'all. Yes. All right. So I'm going to now go in and just kind of blend in with the white, and I'm going to dilute it a little bit. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my water that's kind of muddy and ugly. Actually, if I could show it, I would. I don't know if you could see that. Wait, maybe if I do this. I don't want to close the computer. Hold on. Hey, there it goes. That's what happens when you mix yellow and purple. That's what happens. Okay? That's what happens. It gets muddy. It gets very muddy. Can you see my bun? Oh my God. She wants to go this way, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so let's go ahead and start blending with the white, but I'm going to use yellow and white because I think that that'll kind of blend things a little bit easier so that it's not so stark, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to go over it. Let me see if I can turn this a little bit so you can see the process. Yeah, so like right here. So like anything that looks a little bit too patchy, just kind of go over it. That was probably a little bit too much, but that's all right. I mean, this is the good thing about painting versus like 2D type art when you're doing it on paper. You can kind of like really experiment with layering, building texture, kind of like getting like something very soft with like just adding a little bit more paint, taking a little bit more out. So it just kind of becomes a feeling thing. Like, do what feels right to you. Don't follow me or follow anyone else. That's, if anything, just a starting point. And then from there, you kind of just build. So you build your own skill set that helps you. Miss Oxymoron, what is happening with that? I see you. I see everybody. But I'm not sure what's going on. That like it seems to be a constant thing. It might be your YouTube, my love. I don't know if it can be different from if you're on an iPad, if you're on an iMac or an iPhone or an Android. Android, I don't know. I only use Apple products. Geez, Apple products. I will not drink it. Don't worry. And I have to actually cover it. Thank God the cat is sleeping, because the cat likes it. He will find any water source from anywhere. Okay. Like cats can survive anything, truly, because this cat, I'm like, listen, sir, like not everything is a water receptacle for you. Okay. Sometimes I would like to just drink my water without you trying to lick it. Thanks. Anyone else have a cat that's like that? Jeez. No, she can't see you, Miss 808. I think there is a method like to see, you can check on your in your settings, Oxy, like at the very top, of the YouTube, you can check to see all messages and it might come out there. I don't know. Yeah, that's exactly, Terry, that part. If you have it like to all messages, it can kind of change the feature so you can see it. That seems to be a YouTube-y thing. I don't know. Oh my God, did I just pull an Emily D. Baker? A YouTube-y thing. Oh, love her. Love her. She's so great. She's been, actually, I started watching her when the whole Johnny Depp thing came out. But anyway, let's keep blending because I love a good blend, kind of like an eyeshadow, honey. Sometimes it takes a little bit of extra work to get that smooth transition. That's what we're doing right now. It's like, think of the canvas like your eyeball, like you're going to do an eyeshadow look. Okay. We want it to blend seamlessly. We want it to flow. You know what I'm saying? Okay, great. So Emily D. Baker, love her. Anyway, what were we talking about? Mental health. Yes. So mental health. So my hope is that into my 40s, not even that my hope is, it is going to be that, you know, as a parent, just teach my daughter that there are some lessons that you're going to have to learn that are going to be a little bit challenging, but, you know, don't use what you've gone through as a means to keep you stuck or to allow it to be a reason why other people keep you stuck, right? Because in this world, unfortunately, you know, especially if you're trying to build something or whatever the case may be, it comes to your connections. And what I find is that the people who are limiting themselves are the ones that prefer to keep people in a box because they themselves cannot see that they have a similar potential if they apply the skill to it. So artists, for example, art isn't just painting. Art is cake decorating. Art is drawing. Art is painting your home. Art is decorating your home. Art is making cookies, food, planting things. P.S. Side note, pause. Have y'all ever heard of purple basil? First of all, purple basil is not only stunning, okay? Stunning, but it is so delicious, like so good. It's just like one of those things that it's like a little bit more like, it's a little less peppery than the green. I feel like it's nice. It's light. It doesn't feel so like, I love green basil, but let me tell you something. I wanted to plant an herb garden because I do that every spring into summer. And all the basil plants at the nursery were struggling. Okay. They were like an ICU type of thing. Like I was like, listen, y'all barely hanging on. Like, who's watering you? Okay. Because at this point, what is happening? All right. So I was just like, I bought a few that were struggling. And what I'm trying to do is that I learned from this woman on YouTube. Her name is Gardenary, I think it's called. And she's fantastic. Like she shares a lot of tips on how to make your garden thrive by creating little ecosystems. So I was like, all right, I think I could save this basil. Let me see what happens. I put the basil in my pot because I have potted herbs. I can't do I'm on a balcony, so like I can't do it on the ground. So I potted my basil and I potted it with, I think it was either petunias or pansies. I can't remember which one. Regardless, they're a great companion flower because essentially what you want to do is allow the pollinators to come because it kind of just creates like this beautiful, how it occurs in nature. Like all the plants and flowers that grow together work cohesively together. So I plant this basil. I'm very excited. It was looking a little droopy and drabby. Fine. But I was just like, a week in, it's not even standing. It's turning brown. Why are you turning brown? What happened? So at that point, I just had to accept that like, it just wasn't happy in that pot. And it wasn't even because of the petunias or the pansies or whatever I put in there with it. It was more so because the plant was already so unhealthy. And what I probably should have done was try to bring it back to life first before I potted it with the other plants. It probably was a little bit overwhelmed because yes, plants have feelings too. And here we are. So I went to, before my tap class with my daughter yesterday, we stopped by this little flower shop and they had just gotten in purple basil. When I smelled it, I was like, who are you? Because divine. And then I looked at her and I was like, she's literally like, let me see, like she's darker than this color, but beautiful. I think it's the red Reuben variety. Gorgeous, delicious, highly recommend if you have an herb garden. It's just so beautiful. So I planted that this time with some marigolds, because marigolds are great for attracting pollinators and also for repelling certain type of pests. Basil is also a good one for that too. But then, listen, I got a tomato plant. Shh, don't tell anybody, okay? I'm not supposed to have it, but it'll be okay. I got a tiny one. Look, Farmer Chimi is really someone that like is born, okay? I feel like it's in my DNA to plant things, okay? And to touch dirt. I love it. Look, she could be very cute, but I have to try, at least try. So I got one. Let's see what happens, but I planted them all together because it allegedly, for entertainment purposes only, if you plant basil and tomatoes, they grow chef's kiss. It like makes them taste better. So I'm very excited about that. All right. So let me get focused back on this. See, that's the ADHD. Okay. We talked about a lot of things there. Yeah. Not an excuse, but still, let's stay focused. We're just blending here. So I'm just going in, blending, blend. And just trying to get all of these like little like spots there. Although it could be kind of great because it's going to be in the background anyway. So let's just do that. And then I'm going to move on to starting my eye. Because I do love, like I said, I think the eyes are the most important thing that we have on our bodies, you guys. Like that and being able to speak. Our ability to speak is also important. Obvi. Hi, I'm Chimi Speaks. Gracias. So let me see the chat. Yes, you are worth it. You know what? We should share that video, Miss 808, because that, I don't know if you're able to like link it in the chat. If you can, please do, because that way people will understand how great that is. Because it is so good. Because I can't do it justice. It's something that like you have to watch it to understand how good it is. Ooh, I love this white. It's giving very like, you know, I'm looking behind a very sheer like curtain. I love that. It's very ethereal. That's what it's giving. It's giving otherworldly. It's giving, oh my God, peekaboo, I can kind of see you. All right, let's see. Oh, I love. We're getting there. We're getting there, you guys. You see, it takes time, but it's worth it. Look, we're an hour in. We're an hour in. Let's see how far we can get in another hour, which is probably all I'm going to be able to give everyone because, you know, I still want to enjoy my Saturday and I want y'all to enjoy it too. Or Sunday, wherever you may be. Maria, I see you. I see you, girl. So let's just keep adding. And, you know, and here's the other thing. One thing I understand what my teachers were saying now that I'm actually doing this live and I can have a moment of reflection. I think what they were saying, because I like to draw, sometimes you put a cartwheel in the chat if you're somebody that likes to draw, but you're one of those that like really draws, like you like really hit that paper that you see the indent on the next 3 pages. That's me, y'all. Like that is me. I am always doing that. Like, very much so. I am always drawing so hard that like it's almost like a release, you know? But it's what I do. So now I understand. Now that I'm applying like lighter pressure as I'm adding to it, like it just adds a little bit less of this like aggressive energy. I don't know. Maybe this is why people say that painting is therapeutic and all of these things. It's because, you know, here you are. Either stabbing the canvas or just gently applying pressure. Yes. Yes. We're doing that. All right, so let me see. Let me think. Actually, it's not that hard to think here because I'm just chilling with my peeps. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much again for everyone being here. An hour and 9 minutes in. How are we feeling? How are we doing? Licking my lips all intently. Oh, listen, we should have went after hours if that was the case, girl. What? Excuse me? Excuse me? I love it. Look, I understand. I understand. Sometimes the canvas, like you just want to be in there like swimwear. I get it. Okay, I understand. Oh, this is so pretty right now. I can't wait to show you. Like, it's a great base for what we're doing next because the thing about it too is the other tip I can give you as a non-painter painter is adding contrast also. So not only do complements work really well for a piece, contrast is really great. So I think I might have said that earlier, but I'll just reiterate that now. Contrast is great for your pieces. It just kind of just like brings the eye, gives it a lot of joy to look at. You know what I'm saying? Like lots of joy, lots of it. It's like, oh, look at how pretty. Oh, yes. Yes. All right. So, oh, when you draw, girl, I was going to say, girl, you want to stream later? No, I'm just kidding. P.S. That would be really, if Miss Terry, Miss 808, and anyone else wants to come up on a live with me one of these days and you want to paint with me or do a craft, stop. We should do it. We should do it. I think that would be amazing. Then we get to know people. We get to, do our thing. I think that'd be so fun. All right. So I'm feeling like we're almost there and we can move on. Oh my God. But this is a part of it too. It's like, it has to feel right. You know when it's right. And then if it's not at that moment, you just keep going and you move on. But this is a part of the therapy / the painting experience that is really great, is that you can truly make it whatever you want it to be. Love the texture on this. Oh, yes. Oh my God. Look, I'm going to let everyone vote for the next one. If you want to join me for like a little convo, we can do that. It would be so cute. I love it. We can do it. I love that, Oxy. Look, abstract, I'm not going to lie. Abstract was very hard for me to get into at first. But then because as a Taurus, I love everything that is like symmetry based. But then there is symmetry in abstract drawings that people don't give it enough respect. It's like because it looks off or weird to someone, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just a different interpretation of whatever they're depicting. That's something that there's beauty in that too. I just think that and I'll be the first one to be like, there will be paintings from people that I'm like, how is this in a museum? I don't see a flower. I don't see a person on a swing with flowers. Because I'm a very Rococo era, the Baroque era. I like all the the blushy lady that's like, oh, my skirt's in the wind and you saw my ankle, I love that type of stuff. Very romantic, very florally, very blush and just beautiful, just something that's aesthetically pleasing to look at that feels just very I'm one of those. But then I'm like, you know what? I can appreciate all types of art now because there's a different level of understanding. And that also comes with life experience. You start to see things from a different lens and a different perspective that you can have a greater appreciation for it later. So I definitely hear you, Miss Oxymoron. I get it. And it's not simple because if anything, creating things that are more abstract requires a different level of skill and effort because it's not the direct replication of whatever you're trying to do. So an abstract flower is going to hit different than one that looks exactly like the image itself, right? Oh, okay. I will, Melanie. Oh, that era, that period is just so beautiful. Like, maybe I'm a romantic girl at heart. I don't know. Maybe it's the Latin genetics that are really kicking in. You know, we did grow up with a lot of telenovelas and everything was like, Maria, no puede ser. You know, like there's lots of that. So I don't know. Maybe it's that. I don't know. But I just appreciate that era. And I love all of that. Like, you know, Bridgerton, I haven't watched the show. If you have watched the show, let me know if it's something I should watch. But it's giving that type of stuff. But I also, you know what? Actually, I was listening to this earlier. There is like a level of like how some of these shows that are coming out that are timepieces that don't necessarily historically replicate the era. So they kind of like make it more, you know, modern per se. Wow! Hold, pause, wait, hold, wait for a second. Blah. Mr. J. Brill is in the building? Stop it. Stop it. Where's the cat? Stop it. Oh, hi, bro. What's up? My brother from another mother. Let's go. Thank you for being here. Buenos dias. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Thank you. We're painting today. I don't know if you saw, but earlier I displayed my art piece that I did for my short. And now we're doing another rendition of it, but we're just starting with this. So I've been painting with the peoples. This is where I'm at right now. So we're just building color, building layers, getting textures on the canvas. And we're just talking about all the things, okay? We're doing art. This is Chimi's Creative Club, okay? You're welcome. You're welcome. Not like it's in you're welcome, but you are welcomed here, okay? Thanks. Thank you for being here. So now that we have made the announcement of the day, Mr. Bro is here. What I'm going to start doing now, so what I want you to see in this specific thing. So there are still areas that are a little bit more patchy. Now, what you're seeing on the screen is going to reflect differently than what I see on my side. So what I'm going to do in order to kind of give it a more diffused look is that I'm going to take a little bit more of my very muddy water, right? Because purple and yellow, when they're mixed together, it's giving muddy. So I'm going to go over the whole canvas to kind of like diffuse all the colors together so they kind of like become nice and blended. Listen, in my next life, I might have to be a hand choreographer. Handography is giving, okay? So let's go. Let's paint it. Vamos a pintar. We're going to just keep adding a little bit of water, a little bit, very, very little. Like I'm talking, I'm dipping, I'm barely dipping, I'm tapping a little excess off and I'm going in. Because if you add too much, then that's when you get like all of these runny lines on your canvas and we don't want that. No, senor, we don't want that. No, sir. So let's keep adding this here. And now we have a great focal point in the center. And we're going to use that dark purple in a second. So let's get all of this blended out. And you know what? I'm going to mix a little bit of that white with the water too. You can tell the people, J. Brill, that I am Babalina Rosalina, okay? Babalina Rosalina is here, has entered the chat, okay? She's giving artista. She's giving happy little trees, maybe. Happy little florals. That's what we're giving. Okay, so we're going to keep adding and blending and blend, blend, blend. All right, let's see. Let's add a little bit more up here. And like I said earlier too, like when you add white on the top, it kind of gives like a nice veil, like you're looking through a very sheer curtain. And it's like, you know, peekaboo, I almost see you. Yes, it's giving. And let's go ahead and keep blending. Here we go. All right. And especially for like those harsher lines, it's good. This technique really helps to really diffuse that out. So I love this. Can you hear that? Like, can you guys hear me? Like, love that. I need to turn this into like some type of ASMR because it's giving the tingles of like, ooh, I like that. I like that sound. All right, let's see. Let's add a little bit of yellow. And also too, you can do that with all the other colors too. Like not only can you get like that very ghostly effect with the white, you can do it also with any other color that you have. So I'm going to go in with a yellow in certain spots to kind of brighten those areas up a little bit. And again, this is, look, Babalina Rosalina, okay? She's not an expert. She just does whatever she wants to do, okay? Don't come for her. AKA me, okay? All right, so I think now is a good time. I'm gonna get the opinion from the chat. Y'all gonna let me know if we like where we're at so we can move on to the next one. And I think what we are gonna do is probably do the big reveal in a short. And shout out to everyone who watched the short. To be honest, like I said earlier, I did not expect to even get like half of you. I mean, this YouTube space is so saturated. So to even have people like it or even look at it it's so awesome. Like, and because I'm putting myself out there in a different way than I ever have. Like, I've been known to do cakes and now to do art, when this is like a sore point for me because of like just my self-consciousness around it. It's pretty amazing. So thank you to everyone who has been able to show some love and support. All right, so I need to fix this one area though. I cannot show you until I fix this, and then I'm gonna let it dry for a little bit and take some, see how y'all doing in the chat. Oh, I love it. Stop. I love it. I love it. Iconic. Love it. Okay, let's see. A sty. What happened? Oh no. Brill, that's a stress thing. We need you to, should I send you some frequencies to lower the cortisol levels, my love? Because we all got them. And when you listen to certain things, it's great. Hello, Miss Valley's girl. Thank you for being here. Hello, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you may be. All right, so I think this should be dry enough for me to touch. Yes. I love how it blends. It's a little bit different than what I did before, but I love the blending. It just feels like just very like moody, but in a bright mood. But like it's very duality. It's very duality. All right, so with that said, let's get started with our eyeball, okay? So yes, Miss Valley's girl. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. All right, so let's do this part now. So we're going to start with our eyeball. And again, you know, as this starts to kind of manifest and grow into the beautiful thing that it's meant to be, my setup will be a little bit different where you can actually see me painting. I'm kind of like, my laptop is on a yoga block. My mic is like staring me in the face. My little baby canvas is looking at me like, girl, do you see me? And then, you know, I've got this here. I've got everything everywhere, but it's fine. We're making it work. So I'm going to use a different brush now. So I am going to use, a dagger brush. We're getting aggressive this morning. No, we're going to use what? This is why I didn't pay attention in art school. A filbert brush. Filbert. Hi, Filbert. How are you? But before we do that, I want to say very, very thank you. Thank you very much to my number 10 flat brush. You have been so legendary. Gracias for all the work that you did for me today. I appreciate you. I love you. Why don't you take a break? You were working for an hour, girl. So I'm going to let you make sure that you're nice and comfy on this paper towel blanket. Okay? Go Mimi. You got this. Okay, beautiful. So now we're going to introduce Mr. Filbert, number 8. Okay. Mid yellow, the dagger brush, I know. Do you, Melanie, a Filbert? So I kind of like, I know, here's the thing. I'm capping myself because I don't have all of the information on how to use all of the brushes properly and how you can use them for so many different things. Like, has anyone seen those shorts of like people making flowers and they'll take like 2 different or 3 different colors and they'll like just apply the brush and it like already blends automatically? What brush is that? Because that would make my life so much easier, to be honest, because I'm over here like, here's this color, now this color, and now blend, you know? But that's just me. All right, so now we're going to start on our eyeball. So we're going to go in the center again. I'm kind of doing a riff on what I did earlier, just because, again, I do love the eyes. It would be cool to have all three. Oh, that's what we're going to do. Okay, this is the first eye. We're going to do a second eye, and then we're going to do another one with compliments. So it's a trilogy. Tell me without telling me that it's kind of a big deal. Oh, I love it. Okay, obsessed. All right, so let's go. We're going to go in with our white, our titanium white. And I'm going to start at the center. Now, to make an eye, it's going to look really funny. Okay, it's going to look like a little flying saucer on your canvas. That's all right, though, because it doesn't look like that after you start adding all of the shading and all that other stuff. So I'm hoping that I can get the eye done in because I need a sharp stop at 12:30. Okay, 12:30 is exactly it. Is Maria leaving? Oh, Maria, you are so amazing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying up and being here. Have a good night. Thank you so much. Miss 808, you putting cartwheels already, girl? Yes, cartwheels in the chat for Miss Maria. Thank you so much. Hello, Miss Cicely Lover. Thank you. That is such a great idea. I would love to do that. When I have my proper studio, that is something I'm going to do for you, Miss Cicely Lover. 784. Thank you for being here, and great idea. Thank you. So let's start with our eye. Our eye is going to look like a little flying saucer, like I said. It's going to look very UFO, but that's okay. So we're going to start. I know you cannot see me do it particularly, but I hope that this angle, maybe that will work. You don't need to see my bun. We don't know what location she's in anyway. So we're going to start in the center. So I'm going to start by drawing like a little half moon. See, and this is where my art teachers are probably like, why are you drawing with the paintbrush? Leave me alone. So let's go ahead and just do a half moon, like a little rainbow. Just like that. I hope you can see that a little bit. And then just kind of really let the filbert brush. Who am I? Filbert brush. So just kind of do that. And then we're going to just meet the bottom like a smile. Yes, you know what? My living room is currently my art studio too. That's so funny. It's so hard because when you have so much stuff, there is no other place to put it. And I live in New York, so it's like that. All right, so now we're going to take a little bit more paint on that filbert brush, and we're going to go at the bottom. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't worry about that, okay? I don't want y'all to be stressed out about that. And also, Miss Terry, are you still painting by numbers, my queen? Listen, if y'all are painting or doing whatever, please do it. You can listen to me rant and chat. Miss Cicely Lover, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I'm kind of referencing a painting that I did first. So it's this. I'm going to create a trilogy. So this is going to be basically, these are the orange and blue. So we're doing compliments. And then we're doing now the purple and yellow. So the next one will have to be green and red. So let's go ahead and fill this in. Let's fill it, fill it, fill it, fill it. How you feeling, 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 feeling? And then just fill it in as best as possible. Here we go. All right. And it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. We want it to be a little bit rustic. And coming from a recovering perfectionist like myself who thought I could be perfect, honey, I am not God. Who was I thinking I was? It is very freeing to just allow. So here we go. Here's our little UFO. Mira qué lindo. Look how cute this little UFO is. Stop. Stop. I love it. Okay, so we've got our little UFO. We're going to just fill it a little bit more, and then we're going to go in and do the eye. Now, I think something brownish would look really nice in here to kind of pick up on those muddy colors that we got from the yellow and the purple kind of blending in together. So this one will be a brown eye. Kind of like mine, okay? My brown eyes. Gracias. Oh, that's so beautiful. And I'm so sorry for your loss, Cicely Lover. But you know what? God bless, because truly, like, the fact that you're able to do something creative and to help you through this process is exactly why, I encourage everyone. Next time, if I'm going to probably figure out, like, if you all love doing this and want to join me, I can be a little bit more structured and provide like an image that we might be replicating, kind of like a pour and sip, but here's the reference, do whatever you want and kind of go ham. That would be awesome if you all were interested in doing that. So if you are actually, would you mind putting a cartwheel in the chat if that's something you would be interested in? Because then I can link the products that I got on Amazon if you feel like you want to use it, or if you already have your own stuff. Beautiful. Like, just, you can join me the next time I go live and we can all paint together and then you can share them. That'd be so cute. We're like building a little, this is why it's called Chimi's Creative Club. Would you believe it? So here we go. Let's fill this in. And then, so that I don't hurt my back, I'm going to have to turn this way again. I'm sorry. So let's start doing the center of the eye. So now for the center of the eye, you have to think about it. When you look at your eye, you don't see the full, like, there's a whole eyeball, right? And then you have your lid and the rest of your face that creates the shape. So we're going to still stick to kind of this. Like, you see how it's not a perfect circle here because the rest of your eyeball is up here. Okay. That's why. Okay. So for anyone asking, so we're just going to have this part of the eyeball here for this one as well. This one's more slanted than this one, and that's okay. I'm going to keep going with it. So let's get some browns. And for an eye color, now, if you've seen an eyeball like close up, every time you look at the color of someone's eye, you're not going to get one color. So as you can see in this one that I did, there's multiple colors because that's what's going to give you dimension. Okay. And again, Miss Cicely Lover, I am sure you are a fantastic artist. I am not. I am just somebody who loves to draw and experiment and do all those things. But, I have my own style. It is what it is. It's getting a little hot in here. But I'm so grateful to have other artists come here. And if you have any tips on anything that I'm doing, please, please tell me, because I am always open to feedback on becoming better. Anyway, so let's get some colors. So I like to work in threes when it comes to this type of thing, because it just kind of just gives a little bit more leeway to be able to create something a little bit more with depth and dimension. So let's get a little bit of a darker color. And notice I have not used any black, only for the center. I don't really like to, because that's just not my thing. Melanie, I am not on Insta. I'm only here or on Patreon. So if you see me anywhere else, girl, that ain't me. But if you need to get in contact with me for whatever reason, it's chimispeaks@gmail.com. So you can totally hit me up there. I'm very responsive as much as I can be. So yeah, please feel free to hit me up at any time. And then, you know what we're going to do? So we got this lighter color. Let's do this one too. Not gold. I don't want to do gold. Let's do some yellow ochre. Girl, the pronunciation today. What else? Anyway, so let's go ahead and we're going to do yellow ochre. We'll do a little bit of this for the light aspects. And just like literally the tiniest bit. When I was on Amazon, because here's the thing. Going back to my Pearl Paint story, for anyone in New York who has visited, or anyone who has visited Pearl Paint in New York that unfortunately is now here, not here anymore. Everything was so expensive. So now if you want to pick up painting, that is like the best time to do it now, because everything is a lot more affordable than it was when I was in art school. So, oh, nice. I would love to see it, Cicely Lover, please. I would love to see your work, and I'm happy to share your work. I know I'm a smaller, very micro channel right now, but I'm happy to support in any way. So I love all artists. I think we all have a reason to be on this earth and to create something beautiful. So I think all artists are amazing. So please share away. Unfortunately, I don't have socials like that, just because it's to protect my own mind from all the crazy things. You know what? I'm going to do a burnt umber too. I'm going to do 4 colors. So now that we're here. So when I did the first eye, what I did was start with the lighter colors and built the darker in it. You can go whichever way. Honestly, it really doesn't matter. The canvas right now is a little bit more dry, so we can work on our eye now. So see, there's like nothing here. That's why I like acrylic. I have not painted with oil paints. That's a lot more intimidating for me, although you can get a lot more details with oil paints. It's just not something that I was into at all. So I'm going to start, and I'm sorry I can't show it to you right now, but I will show it to you in a second. And I am going to start adding the lightest color to create the best circly shape I can. Now this is going to look like nothing important or special. Again, it never does. It's always at the end with the finishing touches that it becomes something much better. So I'm going to keep working that. Now, in terms of proportionality, I don't care about that either, okay? It's giving abstract. It's giving whatever feels right. We're doing whatever we want to do, okay? So I don't care if it looks bigger than it's not supposed to be, if that's how it's interpreted. Again, I'm going off of what I feel. So it is what it is. So I'm going to just keep adding the lightest of the browns. Well, this is kind of like more of like a yellowish brown. And just kind of work that into the canvas, into the white. So now I can kind of turn it a little bit. I think you can kind of see it. So let me not hurt my back. I'm just going to work this into here. So anyway. But even with the white, because even if it's dry, the white being in the background still kind of helps with this color to stand out a lot more, but also helps with the blending process. Because these canvases, to be honest, they're not the best, but we're working with what we have. Here we go. And then let's just kind of outline like this and keep filling that in as best as you can. All right, so while I'm doing this, and I'm going to be working on the eye, I'm going to turn this back this way, and then we're going to keep talking about, you know, just regular life things. And since we talked about all the things that I don't really, not that, you know, that were kind of like not so great about 30. I mean, not that it wasn't that great. I think that what you learn in your life experience in every decade is something that's just going to help you either elevate or keep you stuck and stagnant. I would rather elevate. I hope most of you would rather elevate. But it's one of those things where it's like, I just have learned that people are going to be people, and you don't have to subscribe to any channel, person, place, or thing that doesn't align with where you're at life. And it doesn't mean that those people are inherently good or bad. It's just all about alignment. And alignment comes with Terry's favorite topic, discernment. Now, put a cartwheel in the chat if you know what discernment is, because I don't think a lot of people understand discernment. Okay? Discernment, discernment, discernment. What is discernment? Stop before we talk about discernment, because it must be an angel from the highest realms that sent Miss Boston Brandy. Miss Boston Brandy has entered the chat while I am painting an eyeball. I cannot even, girl, I wish I could put the applause. Thank you for being here, you beautiful queen. Oh my God, the Virgo queen that she is. Point blank and period, okay? Love it. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Oh my God. I cannot stop. I need to focus. Brandy. Oh, anyway. Thank you for being here, Miss Boston Brandy. I appreciate you. I can't wait. Girl, you let me know when you want to go live, because I know you were talking about it the other day. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so yeah. So now that Miss Boston Brandy has made her appearance, oh, iconic. We are, you stop it. I love you. Let me focus on this eye, girl. Did you see what I did before? Hold on. I got to show it to you. I made this we're making another rendition of this in a different color palette. So just to kind of, get the girls to do a little something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cute to watch me chat, but at some point it's like, I'd rather also teach a skill and show you all my many talents that I have, because art makes me happy and at least it keeps me grounded while we get into some things. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so we are going to now add the next color up. So I just added first. It's going to look, this is going to look very silly. It's going to look like a spotlight in a UFO. I don't know, but it's at these points where I question my life choices, where I'm like, am I really an artist? Like, because look at this. How silly is that? But it's fine. It's going to work out. It's going to be great. Anyway, so now that we have the lighter one down, we're going to start building the darker colors. And usually if you look at an eye, your eye is going to have some of the darker colors on the perimeter and kind of work into the lighter with like kind of flecks of different light and such all around. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to go with the flow while we talk about discernment. So like I said earlier, before Miss Boston Brandy, shout out to Boston Brandy, came into the chat. We were talking about what is discernment. So I want to know, I'm just curious to all the people who knows what discernment is. Put a cartwheel in the chat if you understand the term and topic that is discernment. Yes, you have to get through the messy middle, because I literally feel like, am I 5? Like, thank you, Brill. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend. Shout out to, the people, you know what I'm saying? But very nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here. So yeah, so discernment. Miss Terry and I have talked about discernment, and actually she is part of the reason why I am even talking about it now. She suggested that I should, and I really, really appreciated her for saying that, because I don't think that people are aware of what discernment actually is. Now, discernment comes with, one, you praying for it, okay? It's a gift from God. You are not going to be on these streets thinking that you have discernment and you're moving such a type of way. No, this is a gift that you pray for, and you also have to actively exercise. It is not something that just comes to you naturally. It takes time, okay? I am still understanding discernment as somebody who is here, okay? And as somebody who, I know a lot of people like consider what I have to say, you guys take what I say very seriously, and that you appreciate my knowledge and wisdom, all divine, all God-given, okay? But a lot of it is putting it into practice. And I can't say that I always have the best discernment. I know that for a fact. And many of you who were here for my first live and prior to that know that I wasn't very good at practicing discernment. So discernment has to do with the ability to judge, but ultimately it comes down to God's will, okay? Let me give you the 411 and the T on that, okay? Being able to judge people, like, let's use, since we have all the Bostonians in here, my Boston peoples in here, let's use Judge Beverly Canoni as an example. She is a judge by profession, but is she discerning? No, not in this case. So think about discernment is like being a spiritual judge and ultimately letting God be the one who dictates the path forward. So as a human, as Beverly Canoni, since she is a human, allegedly, no, let me stop being shady. She is human. Stop it, Chimi. Don't be like that to the lady. She already gets enough tea and enough stuff on the interwebs. She deserves it a little bit. Okay, anyway, so discernment. So Judge Bev follows the law, right? Or was supposed to, or any judge. Okay, we won't use. I understand she's el demonio, el diablo, all of the things that y'all think, okay, but she's still a person. I'm still going to pray for her that she makes the right decision. So she uses her discernment going forward, but we cannot take away. Okay, she's horrendous. All right, fine. We will not use Miss Judge Beverly Canoni. Jeez Louise. Mira, thank God I didn't do this on a Sunday. The Lord would be like, absolutely not. So I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be kind, okay? Even though it's very difficult to be. So she can know the law and understands the law from the perspective of what collectively the United States, our Constitution, our laws all dictate, right? All of the cases that have taught us, she can reference that and be able to use her judgment to make a decision based on what the law says. Well, when it comes to our life choices, yes, we have free will, right? God has given us free will. But there is also a part of it where our ego, as humans, we have egos, right? So it's learning how to make choices and judgment calls without allowing your ego to lead that. Instead, the ego gets replaced with what God would decide is the best path for you. That is very difficult if you don't have a relationship with God. Let me just tell you right now, I fear nothing on this realm, but I fear God, okay? And that's why even if I make choices that are not in the highest way or highest vibration, however you want to call it, or of the best intention at the moment, I know God is coming for me afterwards. I'm not dumb, okay? But that's an ego-based decision. Something that God designs for you is putting your ego and feelings to the side to do what is best for you spiritually, collectively, and catch it here. Not everybody's going to understand what that looks like and why you're moving the way that you move. So let me announce it very loud and clear. God don't play. God will show you. When you ask for a sign, it's there, okay? You just have to be prepared to understand that your ego and wherever you're at in your healing process may not like that. That is something that I had to learn. And even now, sometimes I still struggle with. And like I defer to my friends and I'll be like, hey, am I seeing this right? Am I bugging? You know, like I have to always reference it also back to other people because we're all here, right? But ultimately, whatever decision or choice that I make comes with the consultation of my relationship and strengthening my bond with God, period. So on the outside, it may look a certain way to others who cannot discern, right? So if like, let's say I choose to cross the street this way, even though everyone's going this way, y'all may not understand why I'm being guided to be this way. And it's not for you to understand. Just like I may not understand why you're choosing to go that way, right? Because we're all on different paths for a reason. So a lot of that with discernment is knowing that, one, it's a gift that you pray for, yes, but also it comes with very minimal understanding from people outside of you. And that can be a struggle for others to really conceptualize because it's like so much of our decision making and things that we do are so rooted on the approval of others. Respectfully, none of y'all pay my bills. No shade. You know what I'm saying? And even like the situation that I'm in, yes, my loving husband does that. But even with him sometimes, like I'm like, I know you don't get that I have to do certain things. I'm being called to do it. And the only reason why you get to that point is because you develop that relationship with God, period. There is no other way to do it. And then you start to learn how to properly see things with a fuller understanding versus jumping the gun because you're angry, jumping the gun because you feel happy, jumping the gun because of that impulsivity that you still have. You're understanding how to move different when you take a second to really sit with yourself and pray for something that basically becomes the higher lens to help you navigate situations with people, places, and things. That is something that, look, if I'm not trying to be preachy, although I have no shame about my love for God, I have witnessed miracles happening, and I will reserve that story for the appropriate time because I don't feel like it's only my story to tell. But I have witnessed things that I'm like, yo, God doesn't play. God does not play about us. He truly, 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 like if you choose this path to really have a connection with praying for gifts that take practice to learn, but once you start to master them, being human and being on this earth becomes easier. Honey, that's the blueprint. That's what we've been called to do as people. And imagine how much better things would be if we all practiced the same gifts that are available to us. It's free. You want to talk about the price of eggs are $8 a dozen? Honey, pray to the Most High for discernment. He might guide you to the ones that are for and organic and pasture raised. Okay. I'm just kidding. But for real, like, it's like that. It's like, do you want your life experience to be more challenging, or do you want to try to, like, you know, master it in such a way that your earthly experience becomes manageable and that you're able to really truly tap into what you're supposed to do here? Because the thing is, like, people think your purpose is tied to a career or it's tied to something that's external. Your purpose is a lot more internal than we've been educated on. It has a lot to do with reflecting on what your soul came here to do. And that starts by going within, right? It's not just about, you know, doing a career. Yeah, that's a part of your purpose, but ultimately your career doesn't go with you up there or wherever it is you go, honey. I don't know. I don't know you. You don't know me. Okay. 3 minutes, girl, a second. Okay. You just look at God and be like, God, I thank you for all that you do for me, always in gratitude. I thank you for all that you do for me, for your protection, for your blessings. And I pray for the gift of discernment so that I can see clearly and do what I am supposed to do by your will. That's it. Literally, you're opening that door to allow something so beautiful, so miraculous, like truly, like, I think you have to, like, I cannot wait to share the story about this miracle because it happened recently and it was something that solidified how we can get caught up on so many things that are so irrelevant. And then you witness how fortunate you are to live the life that you live and to witness God's glory and his miracle happen in real time. Like, you cannot make it up. Like, it's so divine. And I feel so blessed to have experienced it with the people that I experienced it with, that I'm just like, I can't, hopefully that's my next live. Hopefully I'm able to bring that person on. Hopefully I can bring all those people on if they're willing to talk about that, because it was just truly, like, just a magical experience. Like, it gets me very, very, like, emotional too. And I'm not going to cry. I'm not on these internets. No, girl, you're not going to catch me crying. Nope. Not because crying is bad, but because, you know, I have Bare Minerals foundation on and it starts to streak, and we're not going to have that. Okay. Yes. I was very vain just now. I know. Anyway, so P.S. I'm putting away my filbert brush, number 8. I'm going to go into a smaller brush now because I want to start adding the darker aspects around to the perimeter of the eye. So I'm going to show you where I'm at. It's getting a little better, right? It looks a little less, you know, 2D. And let's get into, let's see, who am I feeling today? Are we feeling like a skinny legend, or do we need a little bit more meat on our bones? I feel like number 3 skinny legend is going to have to be it. Okay. So this is a number 3 round brush. Look at how, let me do the makeup thing. Oh, look at this brush. It's so defined. Yes. Okay. Perfect. So our skinny legend brush. Thank you. Oh, wait, hold on. I have to say thank you to my brushes when I use them. We have to honor our gifts and our tools. So listen, Mr. Filbert, number 8, you've been amazing. Thank you for creating a flying saucer for me. The circle of the eye. I love you. You were fantastic. You did great, honey. Here, you go lay down next to Mr. 10 flat. Okay. Good job. All right. So let's move on. Yes, I know the tear. Look, I could cry, girl. Listen, I can cry. But you know, what I've learned is, yes, crying is a great release. I highly recommend everyone to have a session and just do it. I just think that, like, those tears are also, like, God is so good. Like, I cannot explain to you how amazing God is. And that's part of this. It's like, it's the honor I feel to have witnessed so many things and to be so blessed to see it is what I think is why I get so teary-eyed about it, is because that relationship with God was it's just amazing. So hold on. If I'm doing a very thin line, I do have to kind of focus. So I'm trying to see how to do both at the same time. Let's see if these ADHDs are going to help me out. All right. So we're just going in very, very smooth, like a wingtip. Okay, we're getting there. All right. Okay. She's building a perimeter. Yes. How's the chat doing? How are we doing in here? Let me see. Listen, Miss Brandy. I know I cry all the damn time too. It's okay. And yes, Miss Sarah, why are we like this? You know what? Because we have souls. Remember, this is why we're doing the eye series. Because some of y'all, I don't see what's behind them eyes because no hay nadie. Hello? Anybody home? No. Did you step away from your divinity? Possibly. I'm going to need you to pray, girl. I'm going to need you to pray to the Most High God. I'm going to need you to pray to the Lord. I'm going to need you to ask for him to re-enter your life, honey, because them eyes be telling a different story, especially those people who are like, I'm so happy for you. Excuse me? The ojos don't match la boca. What is that? Like, you gotta listen. People be telling on themselves. Look at the eyes first. The eyes tell you everything. Big brother, the big eye, right? Oh, watching everything. Here we go. Hi, I'm painting. The A name over there, the technological robot over there, that be listening. I'm painting, pintando, talking to the people. What are you going to do? Even though I am very nice to her. Am I the only person who like says thank you to her after she gives me advice? Or like, I'm like, hey, this person, what's the weather? She tells me, I'm like, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Because at this point, honey, the way that if humans are losing their souls, then that means the robots are going to start acquiring them. So we need to start being nice to the technology, honey. I am not going to let it happen. I am not going to let this robot come for me and mine. Okay, no. Got to be nice to the robots, all right? Yes, Miss Valley. See? We got to be nice to them. Y'all are so cute. I can't. All right, what time is it? Oh my God, it's almost 12 and I have to leave at 12:30 because I got things to do today. But I will do the final reveal on a short and I will thank all of you. And then you know what, for the next one, if y'all are really interested in wanting to join me on like painting the next thing, I'll just like post the pictures. You can reference them and you can follow along with me, or you can, which I would highly recommend, do your own creation. I think it's beautiful to allow yourself to make things. Go for it. So right now, what I did was just roughly outline the outside. And now what I'm going to do is with the darker brown and all of the different browns and whites, just kind of like start working inward with little brush strokes. So that way it kind of gives it a little bit more texture, similar to what we did with the background here, where we're just using the brush to kind of like just, you know, go up and down. We're just going to go working inwards towards the center. Okay. That's what I'm going to be doing. But yes, girl, there are some people out here like, I'm like, listen, is there, who's talking to me? Because it ain't the human vessel. It's not the meat suit. It's not the soul that was assigned to your meat suit, honey. It is something else. Discernment has taught me that, okay? Discernment has shown me the way. Thanks. I don't trust that. No, ma'am. No, sir. Nope. No. Y'all need to stop playing. But, you know, that's just how it is on this earth. Like, I don't get it, but, you know, people be like that, you know? That's just what it is. And you have to just be very cautious about that, because that's how you're able to tell too, like who carries what energy. And that's something that being online is very difficult to identify. I mean, not too much, because, you know, sometimes I clock things sometimes. I mean, we talked about that last time. I do clock things sometimes, but I'm wrong a lot of the time. But a lot of the time, your girl is on point with certain things. And then I feel bad being right about it. Anybody feel like that? Anyone feel like, you know, you feel like your gut tells you something and then you try to give like a second opportunity? I've had that happen so many times, especially like with like cake orders. Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna talk about cake orders for a second. There'll be customers that I'm like, you know, you could tell by the email. They're like, hey, oh my God, I love your work. blah, 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 blah. I love you so much. You're so amazing. You're so talented. Da, 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 da. So yeah, I have this event coming up in like 24 hours and I need like 1,000 cupcakes. Can you do it for like $3? The audacity. I mean, yo, like, I'm just like, are you serious right now? Like, people undermine artists and people who do like creative tasks so much because people just assume it doesn't carry value like a consultant or a CEO. Respectfully, I'm the CEO of my bakery. I'm the CEO of my artwork. So why are you not giving me the same respect that you would give like when you walk into a Bloomingdale's, Chanel, which is already giving you like the worst type of leather and making all the money because you're buying into the brand? What, because I'm not a brand? I am the brand. I'm a baby brand. Doesn't mean that I'm not a brand. You know what I'm saying? So people love to undermine your talents, your capabilities, and discernment, honey, has taught me how to see right through that. So respectfully, I was like, hi, thanks so much for your inquiry. Oh, they got the inquiry. Because that you're inquiring to the wrong person, honey. I don't know who you thought was going to take that email seriously. But I have gotten so many requests like that. Or when I was doing content, there was a lot of brands that would be like, oh my God, you're so great. Do, film a video, do this and we'll share it. I'll send you a freaking pan as your payment. Is this pan going to pay my light bill? I think not. Like, what? Are you crazy? Sorry, I was feeling a little parched. I had to drink a little something. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, yo, like people really don't value artists and the beauty that we bring to this world, honey, because who else is going to give you an eyeball in the trees? Who creates that? To be honest, I didn't even know I could do that. But you put on some classical music for me. You put some Mozart, you put some Bach. Yep, that's me. That was me. 100%. That was me. 100%. Okay. That's what we do. But that's why it's important as an artist, as a person, to even use your discernment there, because you should know your value. And God's gifts are priceless, yes. But since we live in a world where money is a part of our survival and what we need to acquire to be able to do things, to live, etc., don't let these people out here like try to play you just because they're standing behind a bigger name or whatever the case may be. And you know what I found? Celebrities, people with the most money, are the ones who want to be the cheapest with you. They are the ones to undermine your value the most. And that's the disheartening part, because it's like, you have the funds to be able to do it. So why, if you want to be respected in the things that you do, why is it that you can't respect me in the things that I do? Right? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. So as an artist, and as some people in the chat who are artists as well, or whatever career you're choosing to do, like, please don't undermine your value. Don't ever undermine your value. Tell people no. Tell people no, especially those type of people who try to undermine your skill set. Because then there's also been people that like I've worked with that will literally sabotage me to be like, oh, well, I have friends who I'll like give you exposure. Exposure for more people that aren't going to spend money? Girl, $3? Like, I mean, like, granted, that's an exaggeration. Okay. She's Latin. Okay, honey. Like, we like to exagerar sometimes, but in the context of it being how ridiculous it is, because truly, like, there have been orders that I've gotten that I'm like, are these people insane? No. But ultimately, like, they'll try to say, oh, well, I could give you exposure. Well, exposure is not paying my rent. It's not paying it right now. Unless it's for something that feels like you can build a relationship with the person, great. But even then, the people that are actually going to build a relationship with you are initially going to support you, period. It's not going to be you have to work for free for this long in order for you to like build a reputation. I don't like that. I'm building a reputation as we speak. Are you trying to tell me that if I have had this many years self-taught on how to do a specific skill, baking, for example, I'm not worth the $5 I want to charge for a custom cookie, then I'm not the person for you. And that's okay. But I think that people have to remember that. And I hate when people are like, wait, you're just starting out. And when you go to your job, are you going to tell your boss, oh, I'm signing up for, you know, a CEO position. Give me like, you know, what the receptionist makes? Absolutely not. You develop the title, you develop the worth, and you do the work with integrity. That's the most important part. And people, you will probably turn some people off, but then you know what? Those are the people that are not meant to be there. Sounds familiar? You can apply that scenario in any situation in your life. People, family, places, and things. If they don't appreciate you or what you're doing, then it's just not for you, and that's okay. You don't got to be mad. It just is what it is. So, Miss 808, I don't know if you are comfortable sharing what you are doing, but if you would like to, you're more than free to put that in the chat. If anyone has like, you know, anything that they're doing, please, if you're an artist and you sell your artwork, please share that. My chat is open to that. If you have your fundraising, do whatever for your businesses, etc. Like, especially if you're artists or anyone who's like an entrepreneur, please share it. Because Miss 808, like, girl, like, please feel free to share it. If you want me to say it, I'm happy to say it, but I don't want to go without your permission, you know, like whatever you're comfortable with. But I would love to say it if you're okay with that, or you can share it, whatever you want to do. But we know that Miss Cicely Lover, I'm not sure if she's still here, is an artist. So if she has a channel, please go check her out. Yes. Yes, Miss 808. Go ahead, girl. Everybody read that comment. I'm going to read it out loud. Is that okay? I'm going to read it out loud. Okay, so Miss 808, iconic. She is starting her own little business. She's doing beautiful, gorgeous, seamless, most natural, most fabulous spray tans for the girls. So if you have an event you're going to, a vacation, or whatever it is, go check out Miss 808. If she has, I know she's going to like have her site soon and do all of that. If you already have it, girl, please put it in the chat. Please, if you're in her area, go book her immediately. Book her immediately, because she's going to get very busy. And if you want to know why I love her so much, you can go meet her in person and get a spray tan and look fabulous, because she does that. Okay. Beautiful. I love it. I love that she does it. It's amazing. I'm so excited for her. Like, that's the thing. It's like, we can all thrive together. Oh, can you believe it? Yes, we can. And I love anyone who's trying to pursue something for themselves, because you know what? We had enough, you know, of these CEO people or whatever. Like, and look, there's no shade to them, because there are some people who have been really awesome with the things that they provide for their communities, and especially the smaller businesses, like the mom and pop shops, the people who are entrepreneurs that are doing something, giving something to the community in any capacity, right? Like, what I love about what Miss 808 is doing is she's providing a service that, you know, has kind of been like, you know, like Carlo's Bakery, right? I don't know if any of you know that, but Carlo's Bakery was one of the most famous bakeries. That he had a show. He did all of these things with, like, you know, in New Jersey. Like, he was very popular for a very long time. And the problem with Carlo's Bakery, and it's not really a problem per se, I guess it's how you look at it, but the issue that I found with it is, you know, once you become super popular, the quality of your product tends to decrease, because now you're trying to cut costs, right? And he didn't start out that way. And granted, there is no right or wrong way to do whatever, right? Like, if you want to expand your business, yes. But then if you lose touch of what the source of that business was because of money or fame, you've sold it. Like, it's kind of like selling your soul to some degree. Granted, in PS, you cannot sell your soul. You just step away from your divinity. So if it loses its touch with what the intention was behind it to get it to that point, that's where it gets a little bit tricky, you know? And even for myself, like, you know, I don't chase fame. I don't chase any of those things because it's not about that. I do believe that there is enough for all of us to thrive and grow together. And that's why, like, you know, this space is more about bridging community and allowing entrepreneurs and people who have like-minded ideas to come together and have a space to create together, promote things, to encourage people to just try something new. So I'm very, very grateful that Miss 808 Terry are my mods. Oh my God. And everyone else who is here from all the different walks of life that and all the internet webs that we've been on. I'm really grateful for all of you. And like, that's the whole intention behind this. It's like, learn something, take some time to kind of like get grounded and do something fun for yourself, and, you know, talk about your businesses, do that. Like, I fully support that. More entrepreneurial spirit is what's needed in today's society, where everything is a Starbucks, everything is in New York, it's a Duane Reade or a Walgreens. Like, there's less of the people who came here with what America was built on, which is to allow people to build their dream life, right? So there's that. Oh, my people are back. My child and husband. I gotta hurry up, you guys. I got until 12. I thought they were gonna come back at 12:30. I got 20 minutes. Anyway, 19. So anyway, here's my progress with my eye. It's getting somewhere, okay? Or maybe what we should do is do a round 2 live, and then we'll finish it together. I don't know. What do you think? Put I like the cartwheels in the chat. They make me very happy. Put a cartwheel in the chat if you want to see a part 2 progression, or put a heart if you want to see it on a short. Either or. So we can kind of finish this one up. We can do it together, or I can put it in a short for a grand reveal, because then we can work on something together next time. Or if you watch this video again, hi. My people are back. Okay, so what did I say cartwheel was? Do a part 2? Okay. Listen. Yeah, girl. The brain fog, the perimenopause that is, I think, approaching very quickly in my life as I'm turning 40. The brain fog is real, yo. Like, I thought it was only mommy brain. It's not just mommy brain. It's like an actual real thing. Like, I'm like, this is why I'm so passionate about it, because there aren't enough people, enough women talking about their experiences. And as a millennial, I'm like, this is a market that is so untapped still. It's getting there, you know, like I think a lot of people, I love this. Oh my God. It's giving, you know, but it's giving sassy attitude. It's giving painter status. Let me not get this in my coffee. But yeah, like, there's not enough people talking about like how important it is to, you know, talk about what the hell's going on with our bodies. I have no idea still. I'm still a little worried, but I know I can't remember certain things. I'm like, huh, what? What? Yes, we do remember the lyrics. Listen, I remember yes. I know, right, Boston Brady? They're so sweet, though. My daughter had danced this morning. So, like, you know, I took advantage of having some time alone to, like, do this with all of you. And also because, you know, I'm in the living room and it's a shared space and I don't want to be greedy, you know? Right now, I'm just mixing a little bit of one of these little doodle browns with some white, so I can get a little bit of a lighter color to kind of start blending into all of the dark. So that's why we go light and then go dark, to kind of like quickly kind of just start to blend all of it together. So I'm just going to go with a little bit of a lighter color. And I'm going to focus more of the light color on the areas where the light is going to hit. So the light source is going to be similar to the other one. I'm going to put it in the same position. So I'm just going to lighten in certain areas, and it just gives it a little bit more dimension, like we did with our background. So let's see. Let's say, yes, it's like literally so crazy. Like, I can concentrate if I am like, I would have been done by now if I was listening to classical music and I wasn't talking. But, you know, we're here for a key, honey. We are kiiiing on this beautiful Saturday. So yeah, I'm happy to do a second one if that's what you want to do, so we can complete it. Because I do feel like, you know, we started this together. We should end it together. It'd be so cute. Let's see. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, who's experiencing perimenopause at the moment? Because I'm like, yo, what is happening? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. It's such a weird phase for a woman, right? Like, oh, and then also too, like, I kind of feel like we get played though as women because like nobody tells us, right? And then they'll start to be like, oh, you're so moody. I'm like, I cannot control the fact that I don't know what the hell's going on with my body. I'm sorry that I wanted something salty and now I'm craving a chocolate cake. What do you want me to do? I'm sorry that I told you I wanted to make chicken, but now we're having beef. The iron is calling. 1-800-IRON. Okay. I just feel like I don't, like, there's some things that I'm like, yo, what? That's why, like, I cannot be bothered with certain things or being in certain things anymore. Like, things that used to interest me, like, I'm just not interested anymore. I just like remove myself from situations and I just leave. And it's not because it's like nothing necessarily bad. It's just that like my mental space cannot handle certain situations anymore. Like, it's like, why am I doing this? I don't like, what? If it doesn't serve or fill my cup with joy and happiness, like this Nespresso strawberry white chocolate pod, I don't want it. And that's no shade to anybody. It's just like, you can move on with your life and do what works for you, because right now I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my body. And if it's giving a lot of interesting things that I'm curious about and I don't know, some spaces are just not conducive to helping me stay grounded or be in a place where I can focus when I'm already losing focus outside of it, right? Like, that's okay, finding balance in that. So yes, listen, Miss Boston Brady, you don't have to tell me twice. Please, that would be so fun. I think that this is kind of like the vibe for this space, is to kind of, if anyone's going to join me, like, do your craft or do something with me and we can chat and do something together. Because it's nice to have an outlet and not feel like I'm, at least for me, like I need something to kind of keep myself grounded, because I know I can take myself out of this space, and not in a weird way, but it's more like my thoughts run 1,000 miles a minute. So I'm literally like, it almost feels like channeling. Like, it's like, I'm literally like here. And then it's like, I'm trying to keep myself on this earth so that I don't float into other tangents that y'all may not be ready for. You know what I'm saying? It's no disrespect. It's no shade, honey. It's no shade. All right, I got like 10 minutes. All right, so let's go. Let's hustle. So I started adding some white details to it to kind of clear it up. So it's still feeling very patchy, and I still want to add some more color and a little bit more brightness. But yes, that's what I'm saying. I do think that most of us are overstimulated, but we don't even realize it, right? Like, we don't even realize that we're overstimulated. And that's why, like, you know, and to be honest, true crime, like, I started briefly looking into that David case. No, I will not talk about it. I will not address it. It is horrifying. I don't want to invite that energy. It's very dark. I am not interested in knowing what happens. God bless. God, and, you know, rest in peace to that poor girl. It's just, it becomes a lot, you know, and I think that you have to know those boundaries, because it's like everything in true crime is like horrifying. Okay. At some point it's almost like you become numb to it. And I don't want to become numb to things that are not normal. I am not normalizing crime. I am not normalizing horror. And to be honest, like, most of us who watch that type of stuff all the time, like, that is the devil's playground. Okay. He's lurking in there. That's his space. Horror, death, destruction, betrayal, craziness. Or like, can we say in Spanish, locura? All of that? No, I'm not trying to be in that space too long. And I think that it's good to, like, that's something that I'm like, you know what? If that's disturbing your mental health, get out. And I think at some point, because you start to see also too, like, that attracts a certain type of energy. Those spaces attract a certain type of person. if you're too into it, but you don't find ways to ground that energy, you, without even knowing, are opening that door to allow that energy to infiltrate into your space, where shit gets really creepy. Okay. People become not themselves. And I just don't want to participate in that. Like, respectfully, I don't want to be in those spaces like that too often. It's not good for me. I am a big proponent on taking breaks from all of those things because it is very depressing. Like, I don't want to lean towards those things anymore. I mean, even like just people's problems. Like, I thought about it. I'm like, what are we doing with Johnny Depp? Both two abusive people. I mean, come on. Like, they were both not great. Like, granted, Amber had issues too, like, I'm not saying that either one is right or wrong, but it just, like, that's the space, that's the energy that it curates, is that type of negativity. And then you have everybody online picking a side, and it's this, then the third, and it's like, it's just all bad. It just all sucks, like, all of it. It's like all so dark and depressing. Like, how many more times do we need to see the same thing played out 100 more times? And granted, for the people who are able to do it, God bless, because it's just not for me. Like, I think I've seen a lot of darkness, and sometimes it's okay to take a second to sort of recalibrate and fine-tune the machine, the mental machine, to not let that stuff eat you up. But maybe it's because I'm a very hypersensitive person and I feel things too deeply that it starts to really mess with me. And I just realized, like, even like when it's talking about certain cases that are not like that, or being around certain energies, like at some point it's like, I already know the script. I trust myself. I trust God telling me, my discernment is telling me, you need to pivot out of there because it's not for you. It's not for you. Yes. And toxic is toxic. It's complicated. 100%. It's very complex. And to be honest, my brain cannot take it anymore. I am very happy in my own universe, painting eyeballs with flowers on it. That's just me. Okay. Oh my God. I just literally, okay. So earlier, when I said my teachers would yell at me because I was using this as a pencil or whatever, I was just literally doing that. But to be fair, this is a very small point and I need to do very tiny details. So leave me alone. Okay. Yes. Fire with fire. Like, that's some shit that, like, at some point you have a choice to be like, all right, this is too much already. Like, and it sucks too, because it's like, I think for the most part, you always want to start with the best intentions everywhere you go. That doesn't mean that other people will have those same intentions, but it doesn't matter. Like, nobody owes anybody an explanation to anything. We have to remember that nobody owes anyone an explanation to how you live your life. I need y'all to remember that loud and clear. It doesn't always have to be a problem either. It's just, if you choose to move on, like, I mean, there could be things going on in my life, which at one point there was something very heavy going on. I didn't tell anybody about it. It's no one's business. I don't owe an explanation. I don't have to give an announcement of where I'm going to be or what I'm going to do. Like, privacy is okay, you guys. And, that's something that a lot of people forget. It's like, you have the power to say, if you don't want to go live tomorrow, you don't have to do that. If you want to go live every day, you have a right to do that. If you want to live your best life, you have a right to do that, which I highly suggest all of you do. But what I'm saying is, like, nothing has to be un espectáculo, not everything has to be so dramatic and all this other crap. Like, do what you got to do. Who cares? And the people who mess with you are going to mess with you regardless. They'll find you. It is what it is, So that's something I had to learn too for this space, because, I know that I know for a fact, in my certain situations, like, I left my baking world without a trace. I left that space without a trace. Nobody, till this day, nobody knows what happened to my Instagram, except for the few that I still kept in touch with. People probably think I blocked them, and I didn't. I just erased my Instagram and left the internet for almost 5 years, because at that point I had had enough. I didn't want to be in this space anymore. And I'm like that. I don't make an announcement. I don't believe that you need to announce everything all the time. You know, like it's all right. Like if people don't see you around anymore, that's okay. Like you don't know what I'm going through. And sometimes I don't have a right to my privacy. I don't have to explain myself to anybody. Like we just live in a culture where like everything has to be announced, everything has to be said. And it's like, I'm not living that life. Doesn't mean that you can't. You're free to do whatever you want to do. Not you, but you know what I mean? Like people are free to do what they want to do. Like I have a whole life outside of the internet. What you see on the internet is only for the 5 minutes you got left, 2.5 hours, okay? Let me just see really quickly. Yes. And that's the thing too. Like, I mean, you got to know that if you're going to put yourself on the internet or wherever it is that you go, like I actually didn't have a lot of haters when I was a baker. I think because that space is a little bit more PG. And that's okay. And even now, like if I have any haters, that's okay. I expect it given the fact that it's the internet and everyone is entitled to their opinion. If they want to mask it as whatever version of the Constitution and blah, 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 that's their right to do that too. But you have a choice not to engage. And that's what people forget. It's like, you know, for certain aspects, it's good to be like, you know, I'm going to say what I got to say. But for some, it's like, why am I defending myself towards this? Like, sometimes I look at stuff and I'm like, you don't have to defend yourself towards people who don't pay your bills. That's where my mind is at least now. Like, certain things, fine. But like, for like to keep it going, it's like, for what? Like, it doesn't make any sense. At some point, it's like, you made your point. All right, moving on. Next. Remember that MTV show? Next. You can't even come off the bus. Next. We didn't even see you out the door. Next. It's all right. I mean, and look, as this grows, there's going to be people like, oh, that eye is so ugly. Okay, it's not for you. Like, congratulations. But you know what I do find? The people who say stuff like that can barely compose a symmetrical stick figure. So actualmente, I'm going to need you to calm it down, okay? Because you're over here talking about my eyeball and your stick figure looks like Quasimodo. Okay, like stop. Like, yes, oh my God. You know what? God bless Miss 808 that you said that, because people forget that that's a skill. Like, that's you being self-aware. Like, I could say this, but I'm going to delete it. Delete. Yes, I love that. That's the thing. If you want to say, sometimes what I find that's helpful, like if like a lot of the healing work that I did, because I had walked away from so many things in my past, was writing letters to these people and, you know, just being like, actually, if you check my Patreon, I wrote a letter about envy. That's a good letter. I mean, look, should I just read it? Terry, if you're still here, do you think I should just read it? Maybe I'll give you a little sneak peek into what I do on Patreon. And then I'll leave it there. But I want to show you my eye so far. It takes work, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So I guess we're going to do a live number 2 to finish this, right? Is that what we're doing? Can you put a cartwheel in the chat to let me know if that's accurate? What do we think? Should I read this? I feel like I want to read it because it's such a good letter. Okay, yes, Terry, I love her. She's so sweet. This is my letter to envy, because I am going to start writing letters to all the deadly sins and how they show up for us in the things that we do. So this is a sneak peek to some of my content on Patreon. And if you didn't know, this was the art piece. So if you want to talk about duality, this is duality. I mean, they're very different vibes, very different moods, very different mediums, but they're from me. That's just how it is. So this was my envy thing. So let's see if I can add a little sass, a little class to this one. Envy is my biggest hater. Let me just tell you. How many of y'all have experienced envy? And do you know the difference between envy and jealousy? That I want to know. Oh my God, it's almost 12:30 and like a typical Latin lady, here I am doing last minute things. Hi. All right, here we go. So, dear envy, I don't take any pleasure in your energy. I've ran into you far too many times, and let's just say each encounter is stranger than the last. It's as if something about my presence activates your spark with intense fury that you become blinded by your own delusions. At first glance, you seem so friendly, encouraging, and even thoughtful during difficult times. You basically have all of the attributes any friend, relative, coworker, or significant other would love to have in a mutually respectful relationship. That is, until you start allowing your insecurity to override your ability to see things rationally or think clearly. It often starts small. The little digs here and there, the subtle shade masked as a joke, but it feels like a hit below the belt. The "I'm just concerned about you" speech when redirection becomes an option. Do you genuinely care, or is it just a front to continue to study the object of your desire? Why do I feel like I'm being gaslit? Is that my lingo you're copying? Wait, I just wore that exact top last week. Envy, you're such a sneaky little devil. I may wear prescription glasses, honey, but the vision is still giving close to 20/20. I see you. It feels like you resent me for a life you know nothing about. I do tend to wear my pain rather fabulously, if I do say so myself. I just figure life's too short to be hung up on the amount of betrayals I've experienced from dealing with you. Yet somehow we are still here after all of these years. Let's get a couple of things cleared up. I am not better than you. I may make better choices in some cases, but fail at others. But hey, that's a part of being human. As for the genetics, please forward all of your questions and concerns to the Most High God. I have zero control over how DNA functions after an Ecuadorian woman and a Brazilian man procreate. Now let's get back to the word choice. Here's the thing. Just like you, I can choose, and in this life, I choose to live authentically. Do you have any idea what that means? Well, for starters, it just means you are focused on yourself. Not me, not Juan Pablo, not Maria from West Side Story, you. That may come as a shocker since you spend most of your time feeling bad for yourself because your life doesn't reflect what someone else has. Oh, don't be upset with me now that the mirror is pointed towards your deep-rooted self-loathing and looming resentment. Why force a smile when your feelings of inferiority reign supreme? You might want to work on getting the eyes to match every time you smile and claim to be happy for me. The long and short of it is that I'm totally over you. I respect you exist, but I will protect my peace over leaning into people-pleasing tendencies. I've been burned far too many times for ignoring red flags in the past that I refuse to revisit old patterns of behavior. If that means I'm the villain in your story, then so be it. A self-aware, non-malicious villain arc would be kind of iconic, just saying. Anyway, Envy, it's been real. I know I'll see you again, but you will become much easier to identify. If you were a wine baby, I would be a connoisseur. As a Taurus, I was born with impeccable taste, and since my voice chakra is fully active, the girls will trust my expertise when it comes to spotting the notes, regions, and producers of people like you. With that said, I wish you nothing but the best, and this time, you won't ever get the gratification of getting too close again. XO, Chimi. And that, my friends, is what I do on Patreon. Sometimes. So, I mean, Envy really be trying me. Like, she really comes for me really hard. She, he, they, them, they, I mean, listen. I hung out with a lot of gay men. So when it comes to giving a read, honey, and it ain't Karen. Okay, y'all gonna get that reference. It ain't a Karen read, honey. It is a read. It's a read, but it's a read without having to be, a jerk about it. It just is what it is. It's a fact. So that's what I do. I mean, I think it's just more so because when you live your life being the person who, how do I say this? Because it's not about like, oh, feel bad for me. It's not even that, because a girl is thriving. A woman is thriving. But it's more like when what I was saying earlier with like trying to find your identity, like that is something that would be received as too much, right? It's too this, it's too that, but too much to who? if it's me, right? Like that's, I think, the part of this that makes it so special is that I can exist, as can all of you exist in your own universe, in whatever pocket of the world that you belong in as yourself, instead of trying to replicate or be like someone else. That's why I think this whole AI thing, like, it still bothers me. Like, to me, it's like there is something tangible. Like, this is me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did this by hand. AI could never. And even if it could, it's going to miss the life behind it. And there are places for AI, but when you have people replicating, someone else's blueprint or trying to be like someone else instead of trying to find the path that is for them, that is true envy speaking to you directly. Someone mimicking what you're doing or trying to follow it is something that they're trying to avoid their own path by trying to rob you of yours. I wish. Listen. I wish you would try and see how long you can maintain that. Because even when people steal from you, or they try to do what you're doing, or they want to be a guru, or they want to be an artist, or they want to be a baker, try putting all those things together and do it effortlessly. That's where it's different. And also, it may not be for you. What you think someone else acquired, you don't know the work behind that for someone to obtain it. Discernment will teach you that. You leaning into what God has for you and leaning into what God is designing for you will teach you that that path isn't aligned with your highest potential and what you are meant to do. So you're too busy trying to copy eeny, meeny, miny, mo, instead of trying to like just do whatever resonates naturally with your energy. But the thing is, like, so many of us have been, have had fear instilled in us where we're just like afraid and terrified of trying something. And sometimes some gifts take a while to finesse, right? Like, on God, like, my art speaks for itself in terms of difference in the progression of it. I didn't start out as a great artist. I still don't think that I'm the best artist, but I'm still an artist. I still create art. It's not everyone's aesthetic. It's not everyone's thing that they want to see, or, what resonates with their, what they find beautiful or whatever the case may be, but it's mine. It's an expression that I have that lives within me. So with that, envy from others, when I said earlier, like, oh, I'm so happy for y'all. Are you though? Like, the smile is not matching the ojos, girl. Like, listen, the eyes tell us a lot. And that's why this whole eye series really came to me as inspiration, because it's like, that's what you start to learn. Discernment teaches you that. It teaches that behind the meat vessel is something. What that something is will reflect outwardly, authentically. It'll feel right depending on how much work you've done, what it is that you do, how you choose to like portray yourself. And when I say that, it's not about being fake in that sense. It's about carrying yourself in a way that aligns with who you want to be. None of us will ever be the same version of ourselves unless we actively choose it. I am not the same person I was in January, or the same person I was in October, or the same person in June of last year, or May of 2021. Okay? None of us. And if you still are, that's a problem. That's a big problem. You gotta understand that, like, there is so much more to life than to remain stuck and keep yourself trapped and bonded to a version that just it's not for you anymore. You have a right to change that. That's why, like, I love this space to create art, to have these little like talks with people, and just to encourage people. Like, you always have the choice. It is with you. Pray for discernment. Discernment will totally teach you a lot. It will teach you how to navigate this earthly realm so much. And yes, Melanie, thank you for saying that. People will resent you. That's envy. They resent you because they wish they could do what you do, but they don't understand what even got you to this point. They will try to destroy it before you're even able to like actually manifest it, which is so horrifying because it's like, I can never be the type of person to come for somebody's like what they're doing. Like I'll call it out in addition to be like, you're doing this, but you don't got to. There's a difference. And when it comes to me, I will always take responsibility when I fuck up or when I do something wrong. That is not something that I am above. I would rather be wrong. It just so happens that in a lot of situations, I turn out to be right. You could ask. But the difference is what is there to prove? You know what I can prove? That I can rise above this stuff, that I can continue to pursue what I love to do. And even if for Melanie to say somebody resents you for that, you could resent me from afar and I can love you from afar. And I can send you love and light from afar. But I don't have to have you in this because this is my safe space. So if you want to talk about safe spaces, my safe space is my channel, is what I'm doing. It's what I'm creating. You don't got to be like me to have it. Because you know what? Like, even if people try to take it, like, you know how there's like big businesses always take from smaller creators or smaller artists, like especially in like fashion or even art. Like all the big name artists, they lose inspiration and then they steal from a smaller creator that doesn't have a name. And then they claim it as their own because they have more notoriety than the other. And then you have the smaller brand suffering with that because it's like, you took what I did. To me, it's like, it's to be expected. If I'm putting it out there, the way I speak, the way I do things, great. If you need to steal it to eat, baby, you're welcome for them eggs. You're welcome from the eggs, for the chicken cutlets you got. If you're vegan, for the tofu. Okay. But you will never be able to replicate what was divinely given to me. Just like I cannot replicate what was divinely given to you. That's just what it is. But with that said, you think that if you take from somebody in that way, energy, time, etc., or if you do whatever it is that you think you're doing, that's not going to come back to you. Oh, it does. It does. Because all those brands who end up taking from these smaller artists, they end up getting in trouble in some capacity. They end up losing more than what they gained from taking from somebody and not giving the appropriate credit for it. So will I fight with somebody if they're taking my shit? No. I'll report it, but I leave it to God. So when I say God is handling all my battles, that's exactly what that is. It's some things are so out of your control that you cannot do anything but to allow God, who has all of the puzzle pieces in place, all of the strategy, all of the places, people, places, and things intact, listening to what's being said, what's not being said, who's saying what to who's trying to do what to there, who's stealing this from that one. That's who delivers the justice for you. And sometimes your silence is golden. It's not like a submission, baby. It's just like, you just allow it to be. And like, I'm that type of person that it's like, you know what? If somebody takes something of mine, that's okay. Good luck trying to replicate that. Good luck trying to draw in the same audience or the same, supportive network from the original. Because in a world of fucking copies, girl, I am the blueprint. I'm the original, baby. Just like y'all are the originals. Don't ever forget that. And fighting to prove your originality is a losing battle in itself. The way you win is to keep being original. Because if you are divinely gifted and God is giving you these ideas, like this art is God's gift to me. I am just merely the executor of this stuff. I just execute this stuff. I just do that. But this is God's gift. And I will always have ideas. That's the beautiful thing about being in alignment with God. I will always have ideas. I came up with the idea today. All right, we're going to do a trilogy now. I didn't even think about that. But I'm like, how cool would it be as a trilogy? That's connection. You get what I'm saying? And when you build that, You're able to have that. That's why when they say like, oh, the artists are when you're in the zone, that's what that means. It's like you're in the zone. You're in an ethereal realm that is not visible. You're just doing the work. That's why I love art. I love channeling any type of energy that I feel into something that's tangible, that I can touch, feel. Yes, in the flow. Oh my gosh, when that girl took, listen, when she took her artwork, I was like, listen. But you see how people came to Lady Zelda's defense though. You know what I'm saying? Because we all saw that happen. But it's like that type of thing that happened to her. How did it remedy itself? The person couldn't have taken it any further. And if anything, Lady Zelda was blessed tenfold. So when you start to understand that, you start to be more selective of where you insert your energy for the fight, right? Or to try to prove something. You don't got to prove nothing to nobody. You just got to keep that connection on point. That's what I'm focused on. And that's why I tell people, you don't got to explain yourself to nobody. You don't got to explain your behavior, because people love to keep you trapped into a version of themselves, of yourself, that keeps them aligned with where they're at. Because if like, I knew people from 5 years ago that will not know or recognize me today. Not at all. And I have zero interest of opening that door again. That door remains closed. If I say that door is closed, I stick to it. And I make a promise to God that I'm going to leave it like that. Because sometimes that is your choice. And discernment will teach you that. The people who don't understand it will be like, but why did this happen? First of all, it's none of your business. It's none of your business. And that's okay. You don't need to know what's going on in my life unless I choose to share it. And if people are speaking for me, which I've had happen to me so many times growing up, like people robbing me of the opportunity to say my piece or whatever the case may be, that I was just like, you know what? I'm going to let you rock with that. I've had family members do that shit to me. Switching up a narrative, doing whatever. And I'm like, you're supposed to be my blood. What are you doing? You're not even giving me an opportunity, but you need to rob that from me. Okay, take it. Take it. I'm the take it type. You need to have it so bad, take it. Because when God comes down to be like, bueno, vamos a ver aquí, what happened here? God in my mind sounds like that. Sorry. And no disrespect. But I feel like, you know what? If God is through all of us, we are all fragments of his humor, personality, etc., of his divinity, of his greatness. Okay. Thank you, God. Okay. But, you know, he's like, listen, she put her sword down and you still battling? I told you not to come for her. As he takes a sip. I'm sure God's coffee is divine, honey. It's like that Jamaican Kona coffee or whatever it's called, like, or Hawaiian. I don't know. It's probably one of those. It's probably the most exquisite, divine cup of coffee you ever had in your life. But it's like, you know, when you do that, discernment teaches you that. Discernment teaches you to follow God's will. And sometimes God's will is, let me handle it. Well, you think I stayed looking fresh to death? No. And why do you think, like, you know, when you experience miracles that you're like, yo, I see that. And then you talk with your friends and you're crying together and you're like, I know, it's so crazy, because it's just so amazing. But to the regular folk who doesn't know everything, they're not going to know. They're not going to know. And it's not for them to know. It's for them to use their own discernment to see for themselves. Because if you got, like, look at politics, every side. Oh, I'm going to do this for that. No, he's not. He's not going to do this for that. Oh, yes, I am. And then it's like, they're telling you a lot of things. And then you're here like, man, you both ain't shit. Like, no, don't disrespect. You both are just talking the points, but there is no substance behind what you're saying. That's a fact. That's a reality, right? So I think that you have to, not that you have to, I would implore you to please pray for discernment and allow that to be what guides your movements. And it's not the way you want them. It's the way that God, who has all of the answers, some that you may not want to hear, but most of them that will actually lead you in the right direction is what you need. It's not what you want, it's what you need, what's best for you. Like, you know how people are like angels are like these like beautiful, like Archangel Michael has like an 8-pack. He has a sword. The wings are winging. And then you look at what the, like, you know, the Holy Scripture, even though I'm not a Bible pushing person, I don't do that, is like some crazy looking like eyeballs on eyeballs on eyeballs on eyeballs, just eyeballs in the air, like looking at you. Like, and angels are not about, you know, oh, I feel your feelings. I understand. They don't care about that. Angels are here to deliver karmic justice. They're here to rebalance the scales. It's not about your feelings. It's about what is right. It doesn't matter what your truth is. It's what is right. And they will balance it. God will too. That's why God has levels. There's levels to this. So if you want to say or take control of something, like I've had people, like, especially when it's family, it's a lot more hurtful than if it's like regular people, you know, like I don't care. But when it's family, that they like try to say certain things to try to like control the perception of you, and then they make you look bad to other people, then other people look at you bad. Y'all don't realize that those people who are making someone else look bad and you're agreeing with that person without getting the full story is going to only fall back on you? You're being deceived. At least do your due diligence. And then what ends up happening is the real truth, what is right, what is karmically right, what is balanced, what is divinely right, ends up coming out. And those who are meant to be vindicated will be. You only delay the process if you try to insert and do the fight. God doesn't ask us to fight everything. Sometimes he just tells you, mira, silencio, cállate, la boca cerrada, close your mouth, quiet, shh. Okay? That's sometimes what we're asked to do. And let him work. Let him cook with gas. You don't try to become him. And people who exercise that right, like especially when it's family, again, when it's family, it's the most hurtful. When people control that for you, they don't recognize. They are trying to play God in your life. I'm sorry, what? The disrespect is out of control. You, by doing what you're doing, are trying to play God in my life. Family, friend, ex, coworker, boss. You're trying to play God in my life, knowing that that's not your position. Look at history will tell you what happens to people who do that. What do we like? Remember that. So if you see that, envy teaches you that. Envy, when you recognize the sins, they're sins for a reason. It's not because of like, oh, you know, people are jealous of me. Yeah, that's a real thing. People are envious of me. Yes, that's a real thing. And it be to the people. And then if you try to say that, people are like, oh, you think you're better because you think people are jealous. I wish it wasn't like that. But it is a lot of the times, right? Like, I mean, a lot of us could feel like that because we've been shamed into thinking that we can't articulate that because then we think we're better than people. Or like, who am I to think this? I don't know, but it seems like you're so invested in trying to take me out and trying to control the narrative around me that it seems like you have the issue. And sometimes that's what God shows us. God shows us that. You know, like when you start to really like build and fortify that relationship, you are shown that sometimes, yeah, it could be a group of people and you're the only one and you're like, hey, look what's happening. That happened. This is why I left the internet the first time. I'm like, something is happening that people are not seeing it, whether it's they're choosing to be blind or whatever the case may be. I feel like I'm being spiritually attacked. I feel like I have daggers being thrown at me. I don't know where it's coming from. And I am busy like screaming to the rooftops to try to get people to see what I'm seeing. And they're just not going to see it. And here I am trying to, like, even in my own right? Like, I'm trying to defend myself, but defend myself for what? To control the narrative about what? If you're defending yourself against people who already have a misconception about you, that's their right to do that. That's okay for them to do that. Even if it feels yucky and gross and it's like, I want to say something so bad, reserve that discernment. Because you know what? I would rather come out of a battle unscathed than to have wounds or reopen wounds that I worked really hard on closing. So it's learning to choose and pick your battles. Discernment teaches you that. It teaches you that. And I implore all of you to pray for that. It is important to your own existence, to your livelihood, to the way that you're going to end up living on this earth. Discernment will teach you the skills that you need to be able to identify when you're going through something that it seems invisible. Most of the time it is, sometimes it's like, it's the very covert, way of attacking others and like, coming for people's livelihoods, we've seen it all. This community knows, we've seen it. It's very toxic. But you know what? Birds of a feather flock together. And sometimes it's all right to start believing people when they be telling us, Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. You know what I mean? But, it's in the end, which is why, I cannot wait to share this story with you all. That day that this miracle occurred was life-changing for me. And I was like, oh my God, none of this shit matters. People are going to hate you. That's okay. Truly, it's all right. But are y'all going to witness that miracle that we saw? Probably not. Probably not. Not if you're not in tune. Not if you're not prayed up. God is great. I don't know if y'all knew that or not, but God is wonderful. So you just leave that to God. And you know that anybody, I've had people say from my past, friends that I knew for decades. One friend I had from a long, long time ago, I realized, wow, you never really were my friend because you just only came here to trauma dump or to talk about all of your issues, but never really trying to find out how I was or how I was feeling or what was going on. You didn't really care about that. You just wanted to talk about your own stuff and how your life sucks and how mine is so much better than yours because I have a loving partner or whatever the case may be, or my hair is popping today, or my foundation is not creasing in my wrinkles. I don't know. It's over dumb stuff. But you can't control that. You know what I mean? You can't control how people are going to perceive you. You can't control how others are going to do certain things. It just is what it is. And when you start to accept that and you remember that you don't owe anybody an explanation to anything, people are free to think what they want to think. And you know that eventually whatever God's truth is, which is the ultimate truth, will come out and vindicate you. That's all you need to know. And that's the beautiful part of having faith is, it's the beautiful part. And then because we're so focused on time on this realm, even though time is a man-made construct, we end up forgetting that God's time is the only time. And it is always the perfect time. Oh my God, Miss Barely Brunette is here. Hi, love. What's up, girl? Yes. We're just here chit-chatting. I was painting earlier. I'm going to show you that. But just so you know, we're doing, I showed this art first, and then I did this one. I'm doing a riff off of this one, but in a different color palette. So I'm going to, I said 12:30. It's almost 1 o'clock. Ay Dios, it's almost 3 hours again. I know. I got to hurry up. Listen, y'all got maybe 10 more minutes. That's it. Literally, we'll leave at 1:11. A nice number that is for all my numerology people. We know what 1:11 is. It's a very divine number. All right, so I'm going to leave the eye alone. I am going to do the center though. So I'm going to grab a little bit of black. And then you know what? We'll pick up on the next live. I'll pick up on, thank you so much. I've been on your minds. Oh my God. What were we thinking about? How much you love me. I love you too. Little Saturday morning sesh, with the girls. and the gentleman, because Jay Bro made a little appearance today. Thank you for coming. And Miss Boston Brandy, the head honchos, the people. Sorry, I'm drawing a circle and I'm like, I cannot do it while talking. Although that might be a skill that I might need to acquire at some point. That'd be fire. All right, I'm getting there. Ooh, ooh. It's giving circle enough, okay? Yes, I will, Miss Brandy. You know what? They just got here like not too long ago. They'll be all right. They're very understanding, and I'm very grateful for that because, not everybody has that type of support system. And, given the childhood that I was, people will say, oh, my childhood was so hard. Yes, mine was hard too. But you know what? I wouldn't be half the woman I am today if it wasn't for those experiences. And even though they were difficult, I'm still grateful for them because I'm able to at least have a different appreciation for all the stuff that I have now. So as much as those things were difficult, they didn't break me. And they certainly aren't going to do it any other time. So, I'm very grateful for that. I freehand. Yes, I freehand. I go with the flow. This is very new for me. I've never painted live before. No pressure. But no, it's been great. I mean, I just want to encourage people to do something that they enjoy to do and to kind of get people to start activating their creative senses and do something fun. I posted that short and like I said earlier, I was like, look, I just started out my YouTube. I did not think that it would get any views like that. Like, I'm like, even like a view, I'm like, oh my God, someone saw it. And then to see it was like at 300 something. I'm like, okay, all right, and I still need to brush up on my skills, but I'm very proud. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. That's how God is good. That's why I'm not doing all this extra because you know what? I have a lot to explore. And, none of us are perfect in any capacity. So like, part of my hesitation to ever come back online was like, oh God, if I see people from my past, and granted, it was nothing bad. Like, I mean, it's just disagreements in terms of like, I don't wish nothing but those family members, old friends, nothing but the best, right? It's just that at that moment in time, I was not at my best. And, it wasn't all their fault. A part of it was also mine. And I'm okay with recognizing that I am not a perfect being. So those moments were very instrumental in teaching you, like, life is gonna life. And some people you get to grow with, and some people you don't get to grow with. And that's okay. It happens to the best of us. But just send those people off with love and light and know that, your tribe will come when they're meant to. And I feel like I'm in a good spot now where I definitely am keeping my circle a lot like smaller, especially with some lessons that I've learned in especially the internet space. Like, not everyone is your friend, and that's okay. I mean, these are all things that I teach my daughter. Like, and here I am repeating it to myself to kind of, validate the fact that like, yeah, this is an experience that most of us go through and it just is what it is, Thank you, sweetheart. I love you. I love you. I love you all. You are all so cute. Please, Miss Barely Brunette, please share it. Please share it. You are so, whatever it is that you do. I mean, I know, like, I got to be careful too. Like, I'll vet certain people properly, but I trust that you will be fine. But you know what I mean? Like, especially if it's like strangers that I don't know, like, I got to be careful saying, yeah, share whatever you want, because you don't know what people are into nowadays. And especially coming from this true crime thing, I don't want you like being like, hi, all I like is gore. Absolutely not. Like, rebuke. But yes, Miss Barely Brunette, you can share whatever your channel is. If anyone has like a business or site or anything like that, please share. I'd love to see your work. And, I'm open to all of those things, I think it's great. It's a cute little community. It's my creative club. I was thinking of what to call it, but I like the 3 C's in it because it's like C to the 3rd degree. Love that. I love that so much. C to the 3rd degree. Yes. And then also, if you guys didn't check it out, Miss 808 is starting her little business. Little now because it's just starting, but wait, that's going to flourish, okay? She planted the seed. She watered the garden. It's already blossoming. It's spring. Yes, you're in it. Listen, I'm not telling anybody your real name. That's for you. You know what I'm saying? But Chimi's Creative Club, tiny barely, girl. Tiny barely. Watch it flourish the way that it's meant to. So she has her own little business. She does spray tans for all the girlies and fellas. Again, I don't know, but you know, she's going to leave her details. Please do, Miss 808. You already know what you got to do for me. You can go ahead and leave your details. Anyone else who has like a page or something fun, please. But she's doing events, and especially like, I mean, I saw the work, honey. The tan was giving very natural. It was giving very seamless. Okay, that takes skill. You don't want to be a patchy orange mess. She got you. She will not give you that. Okay, Miss 808 will give you the tan of your dreams, honey. All right, so let me just fill this a little bit in here to blend. I had a little bit of gray to kind of like, you know, round this out a little bit and give it a little bit more dimension and depth. It's almost like makeup, you know, like for all the makeup girls who have a good, sick eyeshadow and you do a nice smoky eye and that looks like, ooh, divino. Like that's what I'm doing here. We're trying to blend it like it is so divino that you're like, oh. Lines where? Oh, so cute, little grandbabies. See. C to the third degree. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Miss Barely, I have not either, but you know what? If I'm going to do it with anyone, it's going to be with Miss 808. She's the only one that's going to catch this pale ass, okay? The only one I would trust to catch this pale ass. What's that thing that kind of went viral? Like we look, but we don't judge. What was it? We listen and we don't judge or something like that. I think it was that. I don't remember, but she'll be like, it's all right, girl. We'll cover that stretch mark. Don't worry. It's not even gonna look like it's there. Don't worry. I got you. We're gonna cover that. Your little bumps are gonna look a lot more smooth. You don't gotta worry about doing 100 squats. I got you. Yeah, we listen and we don't judge. All right, literally 1:11. Someone clock it, and that's when I'm gonna go because you know I have overstayed, but it's been awesome. I really appreciate all of you joining me today, and I hope that you like this format. You know, it's a little bit more up my alley. It feels a little bit more relaxing for me to like speak online because you know, especially like I'm not trying to keep it onto heavy topics. I don't. Just something lighthearted, something helpful for the girls, for the guys who are just looking to like get a little pep in their step and, you know, feel a little bit of encouragement because, you know, there's so much negativity everywhere. Like, I don't want my page to reflect that in any way. If anything, it's just like what we can learn from things. I'm not trying to tear nobody down or anything like that. Like, just have fun. And, you know, if you can learn a skill and if you want to join me next time, what I'll do is I'll post, we'll definitely look at my video with my short. And if you want to snap a picture, I'll also snap a picture and put it in my community post if you would like to follow along for next time. I'm going to leave this one unfinished so that way we can do the painting. We can finish it together, hopefully sooner rather than later. But I mean, if it takes 3 lives, then honey, that's our content. We can kiiiii. I'm just adding a little bit of brown here. But see, it's like coming together now. It looks so different when it doesn't, like it still looks like so like amateur to me. And that's okay, but it's gonna look a lot more bomb later. And it also is not picking up like all the detail. Like I think this one picked up a lot more detail. The original one I did, it just picked up a lot more detail. So I just have to keep working on all of the colors and stuff. Yes, uplift all of y'all, please. we need some of that. We need more of that, if anything. There's like, I can't anymore. All this dark stuff happening. Like, can we please, like, enough already? Can we just relate on other things? Like, can we move on to more important things like art and love and all those beautiful things? I don't want to deal with all this other, like, I'm telling you, that David thing really turned me off. Like, I'm like, oh no, I am not watching that. I don't want to know. I don't care. Like, seriously, God bless to that family, to that girl, you know, to Celeste. May she rest in peace and may she get justice for what happened to her. But that's a part of the true crime space that I'm like, it just gets so dark. And then you have people in there that are weird and no, I don't want any of that in my life. Respectfully, just kind of moving away from the true crime community is just not in alignment with where I'm at. And now that I'm going into 40, I'm trying to just do nice things and be more helpful and try to find a space, or rather create a space that just feels a little bit more intentional and a little bit more uplifting. It's time, you know, like, yes, Miss Terry, my angel, Miss Terry, she is an angelic being. I'm telling you right now, y'all, don't play with Miss Terry. Remember, angels don't care about your feelings. They care about doing what's right. It's 1:11. So with that said, everybody, with that said, as I'm still like trying to like add more detail because I can't help myself. Okay. I'll show this later when we go do our next live. With that said, I just want to thank everybody once again for taking the time to have their Saturday with me. It is so exciting to come back onto the space on lighter terms, and just to like let you guys know, like, this is something that I'm really passionate about, and what I plan to pursue going forward is to really showcase everything that I've learned. And hopefully you guys can join me for the next one, because I do think that there is something to be said about having a space where we can chat, we can create, and then it gives you something that you feel good about doing, right? Like, how amazing is that? I mean, in 2 hours, well, 3, we're able to like kind of like start here. So for the next one, actually, if you want to take a snapshot, now's the time. Wait, with the bun, kind of iconic, kind of a big deal. So you want to take a snapshot. We're gonna keep working on this. You can watch the live again in the beginning to kind of show you what the whole purpose of all of this is, and also to kind of get the technique down. I will leave at the end of this video, I'll leave a link to where I bought the art supplies. It was on Amazon with all of the tools. So that way you're prepared if you want to join me for the next one. And then let's see, like, I think it could be something kind of cool where if you want to show what you've done at the end and share it with me, like we can vote on like the best one. There might be a little surprise, a little prize. I don't know. We can do so many things as like this little club of very creative, inspiring, motivational, beautiful people. So, I mean, I truly am open to all suggestions and collaborative efforts. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I'm so grateful. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Happy May. If I didn't say that before, it's Taurus season still. It's almost my birthday. And to all the Tauruses who have already celebrated a birthday in April, happy belated. To the ones coming into it, happy almost your birthday, or happy already your birthday. And I will see you guys soon. This is my first time on StreamYard, so I think I have to leave studio at some point. But I love you all. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much again for being here, and I will catch you next time. Bye.